comes up. Like, honestly.
I don't know if I would touch on vaccines. Because it's just because I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor.
Yeah, that's how I
But
feel
like
too.
talking about it.
I do too.
Do you really like
yeah,
talking about
I like talking
vaccines?
about all that stuff. Like, just anything that's like, I like talking about it all.
Vaccines.
That's what we're starting with?
No, we don't need to start with vaccines. I mean, we could.
You brought an expert of vaccinology. Is that the word? Vaccinology on
today, dude.
Into the
Yeah, this is Joe Gallagher, and you're an expert in vaccines?
In vaccines.
No, dude. I believe it. So tell us, what is a vaccine?
Well, it's, I guess, a deterrent to a disease or some kind of immune disorder. Something that you put into your body and deters.
I don't know.
something that's injected. Well, I guess I don't know if it has to be injected. I'm sure that the definition could be broader than that. But something that your immune system takes in, and then it's used to deter a sickness or an illness. That's how I would define it, anyway.
You think so? That could be it.
I don't know.
Vaccine's a deterrent of some other disease.
Yeah, it's something that you put into your body. I would call it a deterrent.
That like your body then, or your cells then, acknowledge it, and then they use it.
It buffers the resistance against further infections.
Have you ever thought about making a movie about vaccines?
No, not just now. Actually, as you just saying it, now I have.
Because what if there was like a vaccine that turned into, I'm sure they've made something like this, or thought about making something like.
Yeah, but I wonder if not, because understandably so, because I think one of the things that the current situation where people are debating vaccines and stuff like that, I think one of the things people miss in the debate is like, well, maybe it's worth it. Like, even if you accepted the claim that they have like neurological impacts, right? I guess that's part of the
like autism and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, what's even the definition of that now? Because it's a spectrum, so anything's autism, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I don't understand autism.
Right? Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I don't think it seems like it was like. I think it kind of goes probably hand in hand with some of the you look back like the 70s and the way the mental health situation was a lot different than now. They kind of deinstitutionalized a lot of things, and the government stopped getting involved in certain ways, and private things happened and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. Now I'm worried. I'm gonna be burrowing into a topic I don't know a lot about, and I'll look like an idiot. But
well, we can just say right away, you are not an expert in vaccines.
That's right. That's correct. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, because it seems like there are those weird. I don't believe stats. Everyone's got stats on stats these days. So it's like now they're like, ever since we started doing the like 28 shots instead of the 4 shots, like, because it used to be like the late 80s, it was 4 shots. Now we're giving kids like 28 shots. You got the rise in autism is like 1 in 6, which is wild. It used to be like 1 in 30 or 1 in 100 or something.
But do you believe that when you observe the world? Like, I don't see that 1 in 6 people are.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
This is how. Well,
okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but
no. I mean, I think...
notice it with this. I know because there's a lot of like younger kids who will work for my family. They'll be like, bussers or hostesses or something like that.
Sure.
And that's where I look around and I go, damn, it is like so much more.
But couldn't there be? I mean, one of the things I think that's really interesting about this time, and just in general, because it's like there are a lot of environmental toxins abound, regardless of whether like that's one possible thing that you'd look at, right? Because you're like, oh, okay, this is something that everybody's taking in, or such a large percentage of the population is taking in. But that's true of the internet, our drinking water, the things that's in our food, all those kind of things. So I don't know. And then also, but I guess where I was going before I kind of lost my train of thought and lost some confidence in the matter was with the autism thing is like, it's like when you broaden something out and just say, okay, well, it's a spectrum of neurological disadvantages. It's just a spectrum of it. Then it's like, all right, well, then how do you diagnose each specific one? Because there's different ways or different
of autism and stuff.
Yeah, and different. Yeah, exactly. So if you're talking about, people used to describe them all different things. You used to say, okay, this person has Asperger's. This person.
Another term.
Right, exactly. Which I don't know. Like, I don't know what that's where I'm definitely not an expert.
Well, I feel like there used to be, it was very clear this person has this. And now it's, seriously, because it is a spectrum now, which isn't kind of fair. But now it's like, oh, you have a little touch of it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
The fuck
well,
does that
then
mean?
we all do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we're all human, and we're all like fucking. Sometimes, some people have a stutter, and some people, have a tick that they like, And then
Yeah.
is that autism? Because I
That's what they
fucking
say.
scratch, like I don't.
That's what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah, exactly. So
And
then,
it's like you could just be a little shy, and it's like, well, no, he's autistic. It's like, no, I think he's just a little shy because I know him outside of here, and he might just be shy in front of you, but outside of here, he's super chatty.
Yeah.
With me, so it's like, yeah, I don't know, but maybe you should make a documentary on that.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it would get that good a distribution. I have a hard enough time selling the things that I'm working on now, and they're usually more straight up than vaccines.
Well, how does this work? How do you get into this? You get into filmmaking, producing, acting. What started? What was first?
Acting.
Okay.
Acting. Yeah.
Because I watched it in Citizen Weiner.
Mm.
I finished that. First off, I didn't finish it at first. And then I watched the last 30 minutes of it. And that's when I went, because I was told a little bit about what it was.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was a fake sex scandal.
Uh.
And then I found out that it's not fake. Like, he actually had this. Did you guys make this video, or was he really? Did he really have this come out?
No. We arranged like well, yeah, did you watch through the end credits by any chance? So
No.
okay, so there's a little bit of a reveal at the very very end. But that's
Okay.
only if you stick with stay and watch the end credits. So basically, no, we thought it would be the thing, like it would be like, obviously the media is gonna want to make fun of this kid because Zach's last name is Weiner and it's a sex scandal, and it's like it's too low hanging fruit not for some journalists not to be like, oh, okay, this is kind of funny, let's write about it. And then it obviously took figuring out that, like, okay, it's not that simple. Like, the journalists aren't just willing to do that. You have to have a real campaign. You have to have a real reason for them to write about it. It's not like they wanted to just damage his name. Like the journalist who wrote about it.
So you made that video, the BDSM video, for it. It wasn't made like so that wasn't you made that BDSM video for his campaign.
Yeah, that was day one of shooting. Or
talk as much as you can to the mic.
That was probably like day 1 or 2 of shooting.
So when you had this whole idea of him running for office in the first place, was sex scandal part of the original script?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because when I'm watching it, I'm going through and it's like he's sitting there going, yeah, I forgot about this sex tape. I forgot I was doing it with this woman. And so as I'm watching, I'm going, oh, it's a real sex scandal. This isn't fake.
Yeah.
So you have to watch. Man, do you think if you would have redid it, you would tell the story differently? Being like, hey, we're going to create a fake one. We're going to push it out as a real one.
You mean the way it's presented to the audience?
Yes.
No, I always like the idea of it being, like,
perceived as real.
Yeah, because I think politicians constantly stage things, and like there's something in the nature of being a politician that is, kind of, you have to present like a platform is like kind of like this like visor over like the human behind the platform, So it's I think that was hand in hand with that. It felt like akin to what politicians do, kind of.
Where did you find the woman to do the BDSM video?
I don't want to.
Okay, you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't want to spill her beans, But
Okay.
she just was, a friend of Zach's.
Makes sense.
A very kind friend, Yeah.
Yeah, because watching it, I mean, I'm going through this thing and watching that video, and then that comes out, and it's like, because the way that he handled it too is like, yeah, I just like it.
Yeah.
So
well, again, that would be something for him to talk about. I'm not gonna spill his beans, but maybe he does. I don't know.
But it like kind of like was on par with kind of his background in his childhood too. If like we ever looked at like the Hollywood scandals and stuff like that, where they're like, oh, if they knew that his father worked on Dora the Explorer and stuff like that, they'd be like, oh, no wonder he was a twisted kid. You know what I mean? Like the Hollywood sex scandals, like the child stars and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they grow up and then they have these weird videos come out about them, or these like weird other parts of their life come out, and it like fits, or for some reason they fit into that mold.
Sure.
So having the whole Dora Explorer in the background,
it was
fun.
That was definitely but that's just true that his dad wrote Dora, and It's pretty wild. I mean, it's like one of the most successful shows ever. We just went to the Emma and I, my girlfriend Emma, and I went to the Bristol, or no, I'm sorry, not Bristol, Shady Brook Farm light show the other day, and they had a big Dora the Explorer like light exhibit. It's crazy, like you see it everywhere, and it's really funny to think that Zach's dad was at one point like just like testing whether or not the show was working on like a little Zach, you know, like, and being like,
Is that how it was working?
yeah, yeah. Zach, I think, was like, probably like 5 or 6 when the show was being, like, he was kind of being developed for about his age or his siblings' ages. He's got a little sister and a little brother, and
Is he? But it's in Spanish.
yeah. Well, that wasn't Zach's dad's choice. That was like a higher up decision, which ended up being a very good decision. It seems like that's like part of the whole hook that made it such a successful, phenomenon.
So his dad's not Hispanic at all. His dad's.
No, just a Jewish guy. Actually looks exactly like Zach.
Dude, Zach's good in it, though. He's a fun character. Like, he plays the part that he was supposed to play very well.
Yeah.
And then you kill it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You play like this very well put together, I'm producing this, or I'm what were you, campaign manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do a good job doing it.
Thank
you.
you
really do. And then Pledge.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that last night.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, there's a twist with you that happens in that movie, which is fun. One thing, as I'm watching, you have like the 3 main characters, it seems like, right? And then where do you even come in? How do you kind of show up?
I'm brought in. I'm also a pledging. I'm in the kitchen in the beginning.
Yes.
And with another pledge. So it's kind of set up that there's like 5 pledges and 3 pledge masters. And then the 3 are sort of like, they're like the buddies that are going through the experience together. And then myself and John Louis Droolers, who's the other pledge, he plays the other pledge in this. We're just also part of the pledges, but obviously have our own endings to what our involvement is.
Well, and that's it. Like, I just didn't know what to expect when watching that. On like the acting level, I really didn't know what to. I was like, I don't really know much about you. I always told you were like a producer, not really an actor. And then, but you guys were good. Like, it was every actor in that movie is a good actor. You can tell like a bad actor from a good actor, right? And I'm trying to think. There's a movie I was watching recently where that person, it was just like, they're not good at acting. Like, I really don't ever think the girl from Twilight is a good actress. Kristen Stewart.
She has her moments where she struggles, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, I'm always like really hesitant to criticize an actor because so much of acting's out of your hands. You're given someone else's words, and sometimes they're changed at the last minute, and then you're supposed to say someone else's words, and maybe they don't quite make sense to you, and then you might voice that. But then, on some sets that you might be viewed difficult if you voice that. And then so you're forced ultimately, your role in it is accepting sort of this isn't anyone's words, but now I have to justify them. This isn't my words anyway. These are someone else's words that I have to justify. And then that's part of the challenge, right, is fitting in and being like, how do I adapt myself to be able to take on these other words and this other situation that, maybe doesn't make sense to me. And then you shoot it. And then, maybe you have, depending on how the shoot's going and what sort of luxury of time and budget resources you have, you shoot a couple takes, and maybe your best take is left on the floor or the cutting room floor because something else. It's such a production. So many people are contributing to making a movie at a given point. The actor's just one phase that's equally as important as having good lighting, having good sound, having a good picture, and the props making sense, and and everything, everything kind of, because one thing falls out of place, and then it's like, oh, well, we're not going to use that shot. So there might have been times maybe where an actor who it's easy to be like, oh, that's bad. I mean, there is bad acting. I'm not discounting that. I just hesitate to criticize Kristen Stewart because I think I've seen her act really well in things, but I know what you mean. I do remember in the first Twilight thinking it was a little rocky.
Yeah, she was just trying so hard to be sad.
Yeah.
You
But maybe that was the direction. Maybe that was like, you know what I mean? There's so many other factors that
I know, and I feel like you're trying to make it seem like don't criticize the actor or the actress in there.
That's not
but
fair.
like,
that's not fair. Also, you're right. You should
but
be able
like
to
that's
criticize.
their job.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like It's like if we talked about baseball before this. A pitcher goes out there and he's like, all right, they're calling the pitches.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, I'm not throwing the best pitches.
Yeah.
Or they're not in football. They're not running the best routes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
You gotta
yeah,
boo.
I still
Boo 'em.
have to do my yeah.
You gotta boo 'em
Yeah, I
sometimes.
still have to play my part.
Yeah,
Though. And
yeah.
that's like, it's like I was still pitching well, but the direction of the game was going wrong. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You're
no,
out
no.
there. And,
Yeah, you're right. You got to be accountable. You got to be accountable for what you're bringing to the field or to the team.
So, how do you get into this? Were you a theater kid?
I guess kind of. I was like not growing up or anything like that. Really, I mean, like occasionally, I would be like. I think in high school I was in a one act play, but in high school I was on the speech team, so I was like kind of used to like talking to people and being in front of people. And I competed like nationally on the speech team, but I mostly played like I was on the swim team and I played baseball and basketball and some of the sport and track, ran track and stuff like that growing up. But then when I went to college, when I went to Fordham, University, I was looking for something to do. Like I wanted to figure out like, okay, I'm a freshman, like I don't know anybody, and I really always liked acting. Like I always admired the actors. Like I feel like I would watch movies and then be like, kind of like enchanted by the character I was watching, and sometimes like maybe take on mannerisms of them and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, this would be a fun thing to do. So I started, going out for the plays and stuff like that were just on campus. And then that was like something I would do every semester. I'd be in a play.
I love that. Because there's definitely actors that I've watched it. I try to then personify.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you are acting throughout your daily life.
Yeah.
And I love that. It is nice because then it's I can never obviously do it as well as like a Brad Pitt did or someone else when I'm trying to really. I remember like watching Fight Club and I just want to be this really cool, like calm but also aggressive individual, and I can never do that in my original life. But I was always acting, and I felt like I was always wearing a mask in my life until I was probably like 27. And then I would watch movies and shows and then try to be that person.
Yeah.
So I always had like I remember being like 23, being like, I want to be an actor. But nothing ever, I feel like it's one thing that, how do you cross into that field? Like you step over into Fordham and you're.
Well, I think I had like some basics of like that gave me a leg up to a certain degree where I was coming at it from a slightly different angle than maybe the typical theater kid. So. But then I also was on the speech team, and I had this great like the.
What is speech team, by the way?
So like speech and debate, but I wasn't ever smart enough to really be on the debate side of things. I was more of the as you saw in me talking about vaccines. I'm not an expert about anything.
Yeah.
And I'm better with other people's words, and then trying to communicate them in some way. But so the speech and debate was like you've some events that are debate, which you think of as like there's a topic, vaccines. There's the war between Russia and Ukraine, whatever. And then the kids study up and they take two positions that are given to them and they debate it, which is, really cool. There were a lot of really smart kids on the team. And then there were other events that were more in my lane where it was like you took a story or a play or any sort of like piece of literature, or even a movie script, and you distill it into like 10 minutes and you perform it. And then a panel of judges would rank you like 1 to 6, and then as you like the higher ranked people advance to the next rounds, and so, and then eventually there's a final round, and they award the person a place out of the final round.
So it's not improv; it's like mini acting.
Some events were like improv. There was like impromptu. Yeah. So there was like dramatic interpretation of literature, which was like an acting type of thing. There was duo interpretation where you're a partner and you're doing like a bit together. There was humorous, so it'd be some sort of funny story with a lot of characters where you're playing a bunch of different characters. There was prose and poetry where you take like a short story and you tell the story to the audience in a way that was gripping or interesting to hear, or a collection of poems that maybe had a theme or a message or something like that. You'd write a speech. There was another one. Oratory, I think it was called. Yeah, oratory, original oratory. Original oratory would be, a full 10-minute length speech that you'd written yourself about some topic that you wanted to inspire people about, or musing that you had, observation about the world. And I just had like the best coach. Like the team was like the best program. Like Holy Ghost Forensics. It's called forensics. That's what the.
Oh, you went to Ghost?
Yeah, I went to Holy Ghost. Yeah,
I went to Ghost for a year.
Did you? Yeah.
I got asked to leave, but yeah.
Did you have to deal with Mr. Chapman? Who
Yes.
kicked? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a scary guy, but
just sit on the
nice
whole board.
man, but scary guy.
Yeah, I got asked to leave my sophomore year.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny because the person who also sat on the board, she comes into the tavern all the time now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, her son's in there all the time. He lives right in Yardley, so it's nice. But, I mean, it was my fault what I did. But
You don't have ill will?
No, I got a little bit, but I got caught drinking the last dance of the year. There's like 6 days left of school.
Dude, the last dance was always epic. Dude, I get why.
I know, dude.
I feel like a lot of kids got away with it. That doesn't seem like a good enough reason.
11 kids got caught. This is why I have ill will. 11 kids got caught at the first dance the next year, and none of them got kicked out.
Damn.
But I think I was kind of just like, struggling anyway. Just like that was a weird year for me anyway.
Well, yeah, you're like 15, 14, 15? 16?
I think you start getting like your license sophomore year. So I was maybe like 16 when I got kicked out.
Yeah.
But then I ended up at Valley Forge Military Academy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you had if you had that coach that you were talking about, the forensics team, that was
Mr. Fiola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried to join that team.
Yeah.
I think I might have actually been on for a short time because my cousin was on it. So yeah.
What's your cousin's name?
Mikey Frawley.
Oh, Frawley.
Yeah.
Kevin Frawley, he was on it too.
Kevin's my younger cousin.
Yeah,
Mikey's my older cousin.
Kevin was Kevin was a senior when I was a freshman, and he was a real like big brother type to me. He was,
oh, really?
Yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, love Kevin. They're a good family.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's weird. His cousin is all my basketball team now. We play every Monday night, so it's nice. But yeah, that whole family went to Ghost. Fun, cool.
A lot of servicemen in the family. Like a lot of those guys were in the military, right?
Yes, on my dad's side of the family, yeah. So my dad's side of the family has like there's Army, Air Force. I don't know if there's Navy, but like my one cousin Sean, he's I think he has like 150,000 followers on Instagram because he like breaks down fighter jets because he was a fighter jet pilot.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. But all right, go back to so then you're doing forensics at Ghost.
Yeah.
So it kind of starts before you get to Fordham.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's where maybe I was at like an age where I was like, and watching new movies. When you're a child, before high school, kind of maybe you're like a lot of things are coming out. Like you're getting influences from a lot of older people, or like your world's kind of like. I feel like high school, your brain starts expanding a little bit. You start going and finding your interest, or like picking out movies all of a sudden rather than being told what to watch.
And especially at Ghost, they kind of allow you to do that. And I don't know, I never went to public school, but I feel like public schools are like that too. But once you get to high school, they're allowing you to make choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in grade school, it's very structured. Like you're going to learn these classes. You don't really have too much like abstract thinking. And then you get to high school and it's like, all right, now you can kind of choose what class you want to be in. And if you want to, venture down sports, you can do that. If you want to do the acting, you can. And Ghost definitely kind of had, you were allowed to do that. It was definitely more like sports. And then there was a forensics team.
Yes, yeah.
I don't really know if there was much else other than that in Ghost.
What, club-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there? Because forensics was like the acting. There was no acting at Ghost.
They had a drama program. It was just kind of light, I think, and it would be, it's an all boys school, so it's not like you're gonna be like you have to kind of rely on a sister school at that point. So I think Nazareth. When I was in a play my senior year, one of the forensics coaches, Mike Coleman, was putting on like a one act play festival, and he was like, Joe, you should really be in it. Like there's a good part there that you'd be good at. So he kind of convinced me then to take that leap because I think I did kind of feel a stigma. Like, when you're a kid, you have like peer pressure, and it was like, oh, I'm not a theater kid. Like I'm like
That's why I never did it.
Yeah, right. Like it's like it's not cool
stigma.
Or whatever. But like, obviously
100%.
I think kids these days are kind of transitioning past that though. I feel like it's not viewed the same way.
I feel like they're all actors now with TikTok
yeah,
and all that. They just put up their phone and they start acting.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because now you see this thing where like they don't know how to act in the real world kind of, but they know they can act behind that like phone screen, but they can't act in the real world. Like that's what I've noticed too with having these, younger kids work for us where it's like they'll show their TikTok and I'll be like, whoa, you're this extroverted individual, and then I get to talking to them and they're like really shy and quiet and I'm like, wait, I just saw your TikTok. Like this isn't who are you, dude?
Yeah.
And now it's like this confusion.
Yeah.
Where I think even as a theater kid, when I wasn't one, but I thought about it throughout high school, and I had this weird feeling though, being like, if I step into this, I'm gonna have to, and I don't know if this is like right, but like I'd have to feel my emotions. Isn't that kind of strange to think about?
Yeah.
I remember thinking that and being like, these kids up there, it almost made me uncomfortable watching like a theater play, because you'd have to like watch them or whatnot when you're in school. And you'd have to go, or like even talent show or something like that. And you'd be like, whoa, like they're acting in a way that I didn't think was okay to act like, you know?
Yeah. Putting a lot of vulnerability on the
Yeah.
line. And even like,
And then getting judged.
yeah, getting judged.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Getting treated like poor Kristen Stewart.
yeah, exactly.
Making
dude.
millions of dollars though.
Well, she came from, I think, a Hollywood family though, so I think she got a way in.
We're punching up today. Come
Dude,
on.
there's a lot of those. But that was one thing. I look at them and be like, how are they okay doing that? And I didn't understand. Like, would I be okay doing that? Like, and then, like being judged. Like, where sports, I knew like I could work harder at it. Or like we're failing together as a team, or we're winning together as a team. Where I felt like acting was just so much more solo than as a
there's
team.
an individualism to it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I would have struggled with, I think. Now it's like as I get older, I'd be like, I don't care. You know?
Yeah.
Now I understand
Well,
what
you
it
feel
is.
comfortable. You said like you felt like at age 27, you felt like you kind of started to feel comfortable in your own skin. I guess
Kind of, yeah. I think that's maybe I started to feel comfortable. I started to that's really when I put down like the booze and the drugs, where I was able to actually feel for the first time, I think, since I was 16 years old, where I was like, oh, I'm starting to figure myself out, and without all these other like roadblocks.
I would say, dude, I hopefully just a fraction of the way through my life, but I would say like those years, I would say like 22 to like 27, in that range, 22 to 26 were such hard years. Like I felt so lost during that period of time. Like I felt so, anything I was putting out, I felt rejected by. I just felt rejected from, and
but I also felt like I knew everything at 22.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I think that's part of it too. Is you are not humble enough to know. Like now, it's almost like more of a okay, that's that's just is what it is. What it is. Kind of becomes your mantra when you get a little older, maybe to a certain degree.
Well, I feel like the older I get, the less I know. In a weird way. Like even though I know more things, I feel like I know less, or I'll judge less because. Especially, I won't judge a 22-year-old as hard as I used to judge a 22-year-old.
Sure,
know?
yeah.
But I remember being 22 or 24 and being like, I thought the smartest human being in the world, and then, but also so insecure. Just a double-edged sword.
Yeah, don't you see? Like you feel like, don't you see that I'm the smartest person in the world? Like, what the hell? Are you just not identifying with that? Like, what the hell? Like,
it was where I wanted someone to tell me, but I didn't want anyone to acknowledge it. It was weird. It was just this constant like battle of confusion, dude. And then, so then I'd look at these kids, like the theater kids and whatnot, and maybe they were so confident. I don't know. At the same time, but also like definitely weird.
Well, but it's weird to be. I mean, I think that's another thing too. Is like that's a weird profession. Like acting is a weird thing to be doing. Like you're playing dress up. There's no real there. If you're a good actor, there's no real boundaries about like what part you could like. Okay, I'll play a dog. Yeah. Like what? You know what I mean? If you're good, if you're being pure about it, you're like, I'm an actor, and you're really playing make believe. There's not really, like a limit to what you could potentially subject yourself to, which is kind of crazy.
I mean, so you take it like talking about that, like so you take it into, you feel comfortable enough being like, all right, I'm in, at Holy Ghost, and you're like, I'm gonna go do this at Fordham.
Yeah, kind of. I just felt like I was really good at it because I had done well, like on the speech team. I was a national champion in one event. I was like just very good at it, and honestly, with like feeling like I hadn't in the way like, okay, you're playing a sport and you feel like you haven't scratched, like, okay, I know I could work harder at this and be better, and there's more room to grow. I remember having that feeling a lot, so it felt like, okay, well, I'm going to Fordham, and then I'm going to try to like, get good enough at this where I feel like I'm like doing the best I can possibly do, at it, and it's a talent I have that I can potentially maximize in some way.
Well, you were really good in both those films that I saw. Would you consider Citizen Weiner acting?
Yeah, I would, because definitely wasn't ever really being genuine.
Definitely good in Pledge. It's like you were comfortable in Pledge, and as I'm watching it, I'm not. I'm gonna say I was judging you,
Mm.
but I was looking for, I was obviously paying attention to like the what the film was about, but I was also paying attention to you
Mm.
and the other actors and being like, are they playing this role well? Is it? I was looking for a hiccup,
Mm.
and I couldn't really find it.
Mm.
It was nice. It was good. So you were good at it, and
Thank you.
yeah. So you should do more of that.
Thank you. Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, I'm working on it. It's the hard thing about acting, though. You just are constantly auditioning, and you hear 1,000 no's before a yes. Sometimes then you hear like 6 yeses in a row, and people are running up to you and being like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And then that's really a good time to be. But then most of your lifespan as an actor, you're kind of looking for work.
Um. So are you focusing more on producing or acting?
I guess focusing more on working in some way. So more of
Okay.
opportunities are coming to me in producing, in the producing lane, I would say. But then I still get some opportunities in acting, and I'm auditioning when I have something that I think is speaking to me as like being like, oh, this would be something that I think I could do and do well.
So your goal is still to be an actor, like to still.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, you are one,
Yeah, yeah.
but your goal is to.
That's where I'm the most. That's where I find the most joy in the process. Like I'm the happiest when I'm doing that.
In the actual filming of it, or
Yeah.
like when you see
The preparation. One of the things that I've struggled to or figure out exactly a good balance of in the film world is when you're in a play, you get together with this group of people for like 3 or 4 weeks and you rehearse and you learn your parts together. And there's the individualism in it, but there's still also that like team element to it where you're trying to gel your rhythm in with other rhythms and create this thing that's entertaining to watch or sad to watch, or it hits you at the right part in the way that the director and the writer were intending and everybody was intending to do. And so you get that runway. And in film, it's not often, there's union guidelines, for instance, if you're in the Screen Actors Guild, where the production has to pay you for rehearsal time, and the Screen Actors Guild likes to hold the productions accountable to that. And that can be tough because it's tough to looking at the big the nature of the budget and how many areas of the production need to be paid for, and people need to be compensated for their work. It's tough as an actor because most of the productions don't have the budget to be able to pay you to rehearse, and so that a lot of times I think ideally happens a little undercover, and then you can you convince other people to want to be doing that undercover sort of thing off the under the table type of thing.
So is it more solo and like the filmmaking? Like you guys are kind of all learning your lines separately in different hotel rooms, and then it's like, or just
yeah. I mean, it depends. It depends. Like a situation like Pledge, we shot that. All the actors were non-union, on that film, and all the actors in that case, we all stayed. Like we shot that outside of New York City, like in Westchester, which is where the director had grown up. And so he was able to, I'm sure, to pull strings and like people around the area to help. And that was one of the reasons I think the film kind of punches above its weight as far as how many resources it had at its disposal. And but all the actors, we stayed in the same house, in the house that we shot in for a couple weeks. And so we were always kind of working together, and like at the very least, because like something that you can pick up off screen, you can. That is applicable to, you can kind of always be rehearsing, like what you're talking about with the TikTok, with the kids always being acting. With us as human beings always being acting in some degree. Every moment of life when you're an actor, this is one of the reasons I love it so much. It feels like you can constantly be working 24/7. You can constantly
like in your daily life.
Yeah, you can constantly be observing
Do you do
something.
that? Do you like meet someone and go, I need to work on something? So you meet someone at the bar and be like you walk up to like maybe a biker and you're like, no, I haven't really talked to a biker much. So like, yeah. But I could get a part that I have to maybe play this role in. Do you do something like that? You can just push up if you want. You ever do something like that?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Well, I like to think it's just out of a place of curiosity. Like it's like more like, I don't know this type of person that well, so let me ask some questions and try to figure out what I could learn from them, because everybody kind of comes from a different path. I always like my mom always had this saying when I was a kid that I always really I thought was applicable to life in general, and then I found it applicable to acting. But I think starting at the basics, it's just applicable to life, which is that you shouldn't judge someone too much until you walk a mile in their moccasins, which I just think is like, all right, yeah, now I know, like, if I meet somebody who's different than me and I have an opportunity to speak to them, then I should try to glean what I can from them because they've been on their mile in their moccasins is a lot different than a mile in my moccasins.
See, man, that's kind of why I started this. It's selfish why I started this. Because I love people. I really do. I I think human beings are the most interesting things on the planet, and I love talking to them. And I want to talk to anyone and everyone like about anything that they do because I want to learn. And I think you can learn so much more from a human, like learn the most from a human being. This could be taken wrong, but you can read books, you can watch movies, you can watch all that. But when you sit down and actually speak to a human being and like watch their mannerisms and everything like that, it's so much fun.
Oh, when you think of too, like something like tone, when you're reading a book, the tone is like,
Your head,
yeah, exactly.
it's in your mind.
Right, you've established a voice. Sometimes you've created another voice. Like I don't know if you've ever done that when you're reading. Like you create like another voice that's reading it to you.
Oh, for sure. Like
Yeah.
if the male or the female speaking,
Right.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
100%. Especially because I'll listen to a lot of books on tape, like audio, not on tape, audiobooks, and so now I do it even more because I've listened to so many audiobooks. So when I do go to read a book, I'm absolutely giving them a tone. But yeah, that's why. I mean, I guess I obviously don't pull it into an acting role because I don't do that. But I love sitting across like other people I've brought on here, like bringing on, like the psychic. There's one person I'm like, I want to just know more about this, right?
Yeah.
And then after she leaves, I set up an appointment with her because I was like, now I really want to know, like, all right, now I've heard you talk about it. Now I want to experience it, right?
Yeah.
One person I brought on was the guy who interviewed all the cardinals during conclave, like before choosing the Pope.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's such a fun episode because it turned into this whole like spirituality talk, and sometimes like a little bit was like religion versus science. And even so, it was really
How
fun.
so? Like when he's vetting the Cardinals, he's trying to
Oh,
think practically.
yeah, I don't know exactly. We were supposed to talk more about that, but then we ended up going to this like deep spirituality type conversation.
Yeah.
It was so nice. I felt so good after having that talk. And also, this is a little selfish because it almost feels like therapy sometimes when I'm having these conversations. And also, no one takes out their phone when we're on here. You know what I mean? So it's like this whole like 2 hours where we're just talking.
A rarity in the human experience.
Rarity now.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people walk away and they go, oh, this felt nice. And I'm like, because we had no distractions. We just talked. And then who else have I brought in here that's a diamond dealer? I knew nothing about that. So she's talking about like engagement rings and different diamonds and how they get them and where they come from and where they get theirs from and is it sourced? And I push back like, what about blood diamonds? And it's like, well, they're not all like that. And so it's fun. But I can absolutely see you using that in your acting world. Just going up and talking to anybody and be like, oh, this is how they move. Oh, this is how they're doing this. Like I had a preconceived notion of what a tattoo artist is. Now I'm talking to you. And you're not like what I thought you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Maybe I grabbed that from movies though. I don't know. Or just what someone else has told me. So now it's just been like breaking down barriers of all these preconceived notions that I've had in my head about other people.
Yep.
And I think it's made me a nicer person though.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the goal. That's why one of the things like I'm like, I get there's like pushback right when people like they cast actors to cross a gender or play a different race or all those kind of things. I understand that because they're like opportunity shouldn't be dependent on that. It should be dependent on the skill level, and if someone's really good, then they should get the job. To me anyway, that's kind of how I think. Merit is important. Opportunity and exposing people to as much opportunity as possible is important too. Both are true, but I think that there's just something pure in like this pursuit when you're acting of trying to understand someone other than you and like to make it about something else and then say, oh, you shouldn't do that. Then it's like kind of limiting the ways in which you can knock down barriers. And so, yeah, that is one thing. And maybe it's like a hot take, but I'm like, I think Marlon Brando, he was a controversial guy sometimes, but one of the greatest actors ever. And kind of like to many people like a godfather of acting. He was the godfather himself.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, but method acting and like he kind of transitioned from like, you know, that sort of era of movies where you're like everybody's like da 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 da, you know, and you kind of have this new that Atlantic mid-Atlantic accent.
That Charlton voice or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. And he kind of transitioned it into this thing that now I think has just been iterated so many times further of this like naturalism that is just like people kind of watch the movie and they're like, oh, I know that guy, or I'm enchanted to watch them because I like that person is someone I could strive to be, or like whatever it is, you know. And but he did a class in the 90s that like a lot of people went to, that then he filmed, and he didn't like, he got a lot of famous people, like apparently Michael Jackson was in it and Bill Clinton was in it, and like all these different people were in it, and all of their lawyers simultaneously shut it down because he was like, he called it lying for a living and was saying that like acting, all it is ultimately you're just putting a mask on and lying, and that we can all do this, and whether you're a politician or a famous pop star, or, you know, he like some of the people in the class were like garbage men that he'd met and was like, oh yeah, you got to come into my house now and we're gonna all do this class together, you know.
Sounds like he had good intentions though, just saying, hey, anybody can do this.
Yes, he definitely had good intentions with it, and but a lot of them shut it down because he'd be like, okay, now you're gonna play, he'd be like to the baker, the local baker, he'd be like, now you're gonna play a slave in 1850, and, you know, that could be like, you know, if you're not doing something like that with any care, it could be perceived as though you're making a mockery of the situation that a slave was in 1850. But it's also possible that you would read about a slave in 1850 and you feel such incredible empathy towards the situation they were in that you might grow as a human being in some way, or you might talk to somebody whose ancestors were in that situation, or whatever it might be. You know, you might grow in some way. And yeah, I don't know. I see it a lot in terms of like, it's kind of, people are limited a lot in that sphere right now. I think a little bit of it is well intentioned, but then I also think it's just like a well intentioned like limiting that shouldn't be there. I think people should play
I think
different.
movies has opened our eyes so much to, you know, different parts of the world that we haven't understood. I mean, especially being in closed off, you know, you can be like rural America into, you know, or city life or anything like that. But like and both those people, different parts of the United States, don't understand what the other person is. You watch a movie and now you've kind of made up a notion about them, but, you know, it does open your mind to so much more. I mean, I don't know what it was like to be at D-Day, but Saving Private Ryan apparently was pretty accurate. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and
Never
that was a
wanna be
horrible experience to watch. You know, I mean, incredible film because you're there, you're in it, and you feel for these people who are going through this situation. But a horrible, like, you know, we don't want that. We don't want to be in a world war. You know, we don't want to be in situations where we have to storm beaches and have missiles thrown at us, and you know, peace is fragile, I guess.
Oh my God! Would you want to be in a movie like Saving Private Ryan?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
Oh really?
Hell yeah.
Why? So what would be your type of acting? Like if you could choose a role right now, what would it be? Like if you see, all right, who in a role, any movie or maybe recent, up to you, but they're like, oh, I wish I could have played that role. I would have done well.
Well, I really like the role. It's a hot button topic right now because Quentin Tarantino seems to go on these podcasts and just shit on people.
Oh, I saw that. I don't like this because he shit on Paul Dano, and I like Paul Dano, dude.
Yeah, me too. But I would have loved to play that role.
Oh, There Will Be Blood?
I think I would have nailed that. But I do think he nailed it as well. Like, I'm not trying.
I think he nailed it as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's such a good movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. You know what? I actually, that question, I feel like I've had an answer to that before, but
which one?
The question I asked, like, what role would I want? Like, do I think I could have played well? I think I could have played like a. You ever see Jake Gyllenhaal in? I think it's Sex, Love, and Other Drugs. Is that the one?
Yeah. The with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah,
no,
I feel like I could have.
Yeah, Sex, Love, and Other Drugs.
I feel like I could play somewhat of like that.
Slick corporate salesman.
Yeah, because I had to be in sales roles for years, so I feel like I could do something like that. Yeah. But then I also think, dang, I'll have to. Another role will pop in my head, and I'd be like, all right, I feel like I could have.
Yeah, there's some out there. The ones I admire the most, to be honest, are like the ones that are totally. And I don't know that I could do this, and I guess hopefully I could do it one day. It's like they invent a human being that's so gripping. Like I think of like one of the first ones that really got me. Well, there's definitely like childhood ones, you know, like The Mask, Jim Carrey and The Mask. Like I remember being enamored by that movie when I was a child.
Absolutely.
Really everything he did when I was a child. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like Ace Ventura. Like I loved everything he did.
Dumb and Dumber was my
Dumber,
favorite comedies ever. Yeah.
Yeah. But then like in that high school age, I remember watching American Psycho and thinking Christian Bale just like, because normally when you're acting, you try to be like, how can I be in the spirit of like that Marlon Brando reference? How can I be like as naturalistic and make people understand me on a human level? Christian Bale like kind of pivoted the other way where he was like, I'm going to make this guy kind of like an alien who's like off kilter and like, you know, out of this world.
Original autism for sure.
yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's the most autistic man in cinema. Forget Rain Man. It's Patrick Bateman, the most autistic man ever.
Wild movie, but yeah.
Yeah. So him, then Heath Ledger's Joker, you know, like these are characters. Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow. Some of these characters are like so larger than life. They're like, you don't like. Where do you get those influences? Like he's like he.
Oh man, I've watched an interview where Johnny Depp got some of those influences, and I forget what it was, but
well, he said Jagger. I think he said Mick Jagger.
Yes, but I think that's what it was.
But what I'm saying is like it's such a creative and artistic decision to say like, oh, I'm playing a pirate. Where do I see piracy in my life? Somehow he got to rock and roll and being like, oh, rock stars are kind of that would make sense for
nice.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how he did that in his mind, but his mind made those connections, and it lent one of the most iconic characters, you know, that you could ever imagine.
The first Pirates is so good.
Yeah.
But
and the character itself is so good, you know, like the way he moved, like he's like lampoonable, like you can.
Yeah, he's like flamboyant, but he's also supposed to be like this scary man.
Yeah.
You know, this pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a role that I think, you know, someone gives them the script and they let them run with it, though, where I don't think, you know, everyone gets that opportunity.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Usually you're in there and it's like, you know.
But maybe like a Quentin Tarantino, because I've watched interviews with him where he writes down the script and he's like, he has in his mind exactly who he's already going to have play that role or something.
Yeah.
Or he passes it off and is like, this is what I need you to be. And then I think that's what would be difficult because I'm not an actor. To be like, now I have to take this guy's vision and I have to now morph into it.
Yeah.
That I would find kind of difficult. And is he going to like it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's his movie.
Yep. And ultimately, that's like who you're accountable to. You're accountable to the director as an actor and to the producers to a certain extent. And to, honestly, the audience. But then you can't really think about that because it's not your responsibility for what the audience, like, you know.
You don't think that's a responsibility of the actor to portray perfectly for the audience? Because that's who you're doing it for.
That's what you're trying to do. Yeah. That's what you're trying to do. I do think I do. But I just mean to say, like, when you're on set and you're actually dealing with the job of it all, you're there because the director wants to get, like, ostensibly the director should have a vision. You know, maybe you don't believe in the director. You're working on a project where you're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This woman doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, you know, I don't want to, like, I have to, I know that this is going to fail if I don't do something else, you know, or at least do something that's, you know, I'm not getting any kind of guidance. Then that happens, obviously. But I think, like, realistically, from a job perspective, you're getting words from a writer who has a vision paired with the directors trying to enact that vision. And then you're trying to lean on them to be like, all right, this is what I'm going to bring out that follows the story that they want to tell, and then you try to talk with them and work with them to do that.
Were you given that opportunity to be able to talk to the director of Pledge?
Yeah. Actually, Daniel Robbins, he directed Citizen Weiner as well.
Okay, so you had a good amount of time with him. Well, Citizen Weiner came after Pledge.
Yeah,
right?
much after. Yeah.
So when you're given that role, like they sit down, when you're given that script, how do you get that role, by the way?
For Pledge?
Yeah.
Pledge, I just auditioned for. I applied on I think Backstage.com, which is you know, there's Backstage, Actors Access. I feel like they're the big two. There's other ones. There's like casting networks and stuff like that, but they're mostly those are the two I would say where you actually can find, you know, some legitimate projects and interesting people to work with. And maybe another one will pop up at some point or has popped up that I don't know of, but that they're the two that I experienced some success with. But somebody posted on Backstage that they were casting a frat horror film. I applied. You know, it's one of those things where you upload like a profile. You have headshots and a reel maybe of like little clippings of your work and a resume, and and you write a little cover letter, and then sometimes they call you in for the audition, sometimes they don't. And so they called me in for that audition, and I got cast. And then yeah, well, with a project like that, because I was a supporting character, I didn't have a lot of time. I actually got hired on a Friday, and then I think we started shooting on like a Monday. Like it was like a 3-day, so I didn't really have any time to think about the part that much. Also, there was like another scene that was written that we had to cut. That was I was looking forward to shooting. That was an early career like heartbreak where I was like, oh, and I had a conversation with the director that was very emotional on set. Where Daniel was explaining that he didn't think that he thought it would still work for the movie to take the scene out. I disagreed vehemently, but also like that's not like, you know what I mean? It's
Was
not,
it a major part for you in that?
the scene, yeah, it was a scene. It was a scene for me. Yeah, exactly.
No,
And
keep it in, dude.
yeah, but I thought it was important. I don't know. I mean, I think the movie's great. I really like Pledge. I'm a big fan of Pledge. So.
Every actor does really well in that. Like,
Yeah.
even though I know it's considered low budget, I guess it is, right? I don't know. Is it
Yeah,
low?
definitely. Yeah.
They all do really well. You could have also played the part of one of the Pledge Masters.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
you could have.
Yeah, maybe. They were great though. Those guys are my homies. Like Aaron Dallavilla, beast actor. Cameron Cupperwaith, beast actor. He's in a lot of he has worked a lot with what's the guy's name? Ryan Murphy. He does like American
I know
Horror
Ryan
Story.
Murphy, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see Cameron if you watch a lot of the movies. You'll see Cameron pop up in a lot of them. And Jesse Pimentel is the third Pledge Master, beast actor, in a really good movie Hippo, that I think is coming to streaming soon. And Aaron has a bunch of stuff too. Aaron had a funny lore about Aaron. So I was just working on this film Juice Cleanse that was up in Massachusetts, and we have a special effects artist on it. And the special effects artist made a prosthetic mustache. And she was saying, I picked her up from the airport. She's telling me, she's like, yeah, like I'm just working on this movie. It's a vampire movie with Billy Zane. You know, Billy Zane.
I know, yeah.
So
Of course, Titanic.
Titanic, exactly. So she put on this mustache for Billy Zane, and anyway, I'm later in the shoot. She's just telling me she's working with Billy Zane. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So later on in the shoot, we're both in like the holding area. We were having this awful overnight shoot where we're shooting in a barn. It's like 25 degrees in Massachusetts, like no insulation, like just a barn. Some like space heaters trying to keep everybody warm. Body warmers on everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just a hellish shoot. And she's looking on Instagram, and I hear my Aaron, who's the Pledge Master. He's the guy, kind of the
taller one.
No, the shorter fella,
Okay.
who's like running Maxwell Peterson III. I think he's like the ringleader of the Pledge Masters. And Aaron, hear Aaron's voice. I'm like, Casey, Casey Mussman is the special effects artist, and I said, Casey, like what like, do you know Aaron? Like, I thought I heard Aaron's voice. She's like, oh yeah, I just made his mustache. So I'm like, oh, you made his mustache. And he's in this film that's like doing like they're doing a screening for the Emmys. It's called The Plastic Men. It's like a veteran, a movie about PTSD. And Aaron plays this guy. He kind of has like a Born on the 4th of July type of like, Vietnam vet type of like, mustache type of situation.
Like a handlebar.
Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, it's funny. It's actually Billy Zane's mustache now. For the vampire thing. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like, Aaron's mustache went to Billy Zane. She's like, actually, you won't believe this. The mustache has been used 3 times total. And the time before Aaron, it was used for Ron Burgundy on Anchorman 2.
Way.
Yeah. I was like, that is the coolest lineage of mustaches ever.
Dude. This thing's more famous than you, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Holy shit, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, so then you, damn, what was I just about to ask? I mean, if you're going to go into, like, the next role, what would it be if you could choose one right now?
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm thinking about maybe, like, it would be cool to genre jump because I feel like so far a lot of the films I've been in was in some horror, and then and I have a small part in this film Juice Cleanse that we're working on in Massachusetts, so I have to shoot that part soon. But that's a horror film as well, and and then Citizen Wiener's like a comedy, but like you asked, like I don't know, I don't feel as though that's like an acting showcase so much as like you know, I do feel as though I was acting when I was doing it, like I was putting on a performance, but I don't think it like screams acting, you know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense, like it's like mostly just following this campaign through its process.
You seemed like a campaign manager.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That was the goal.
Do you feel like you have to choose a different genre now because you've already touched a couple?
No, but I'd like to I'd really like to get like a nice meaty part in something that is like a different kind of like, whether it be like a scripted comedy or it could be something that's my aunt Karen, I'm gonna give her a shout out right now. She has for years been begging me to make a rom-com because she's like, I don't enjoy any of your films at all.
She said that?
No, she's like I love watching you, like I'm like happy to watch your films and support you, but like,
I can see her not, because you do kill someone.
Yeah.
So I can see her maybe not wanting to watch it. Well, I heard you have all the equipment though. Why don't you just do it?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. That's true. I mean, you got to put it together and have a good script and something that's.
Do you have a good script in your? Have you not thought of a script in your head before?
There's a project I've been working on developing that's about cannibalism. That I'd like to make. Like it's like a kind of like. I don't know. I'm too early in developing it that I think to talk about it too deeply. But basically, It's like there was this mine incident. I don't know if it's fully about cannibalism, but I want it to be.
Why?
A little bit, because the real story, it's just speculated that there was cannibalism involved, and then so I'm even hesitant to bring up that there was a real story involved, because then it's like maybe I'm like, putting something on it that there wasn't. But basically, there's a mine incident where people were trapped. 3 miners were trapped in a mine.
Oh, so it was like a way to survive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's this fascinating tale where the 3 miners end up in a mine. After like 33 days or something like that.
Oh, this is a real one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And 2 of the miners are recovered, and the 2 miners have like these shared delusions. Maybe that's the wrong word to put on it, but that's one way of describing it. They have shared experiences that they're sharing. That is, I guess that if they were shared experience, they'd be sharing them. But you know what I mean? They are talking about meeting the Pope in the mine. And the Easter Bunny and Ronald McDonald and like all this stuff. Like it's like crazy. And everybody's like, well, what happened to the 3rd miner? And they're like, well, we heard his voice. We spoke with him through a wall for a while. And then eventually we stopped hearing from him. And, he must have died in the mine, and we couldn't recover him. But it doesn't really make sense to anybody, because they're like, how could they have survived for 33 days without any food or water? Water, I think they'd figured out. There was some crack in some stream, and they were able to drink some water. But how could they have done it without any food?
Jesus did it
for 40 days, right?
Yeah,
so that's Jesus. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I've gone down a deep path of understanding what fasting is, so I have like a weird knowledge of that. So I think 33 days is just fine.
They could do it. Yeah,
100%.
All right, so.
Yeah, I think they could.
So maybe in my story, I'll expand it to like.
There's a man who
days.
fasted for 300, I think.
300. All right, so 301 days.
Yeah. That's a cutoff, dude. No, but it's suspected cannibalism. Why wouldn't they just say they did it?
Well, I don't know. You don't want to come out. You come out. You're resting.
How'd you survive? I ate my buddy.
Yeah, right.
Tim, help me out, dude. Where's Tim? In my tummy. I don't know. Well, I mean, that's raw cannibalism then, because you're not like cooking down there.
Yeah. And I've always envisioned it to have sort of like an I See Dead People type of twist to it.
Dude, have you seen Bone Tomahawk?
No, but I know that movie's like epic. Like everybody, I hear it referenced a lot. Why do you bring it up?
Cannibalism.
That's a cannibalism movie?
Oh my gosh. My buddy made me watch that one time, and he was like, hey, I got this new movie I want to watch. Dude, it's good. It's good. It really is.
I've heard it brought up, like at this point in my life, I feel like that's a movie that's like being screamed at me to watch because people...
Oh, watch it.
Okay.
It's wild. You might like, because it seems like you like the horror stuff and whatnot. It's about
generally not, to be honest. That's just the lowest budget. Like usually, you just need a good concept. You don't need a like a big name actor. And usually, to get
I feel like a lot of
films-
actors make it through.
They
going
do.
through there.
They do. They do. That's like a good place to start, especially as an actor, because they're willing to take leaps and the budgets are small.
You know what I just watched? That and I'm not really big into the genre. I don't love it. But X and Pearl.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched them?
Yeah.
Mia Goth?
I didn't see. Wait, are they making a third one? Or
Well, they made Maxine.
Yeah, I didn't see Maxine.
I haven't seen Maxine yet either.
Yeah. But I saw X and Pearl. Yeah.
I just watched them.
Yeah.
And they're good.
Yeah, those are good films.
And I don't love that stuff.
Yeah.
And X
But with
was,
X, why didn't anyone just sleep with the woman?
Oh, I know.
That was the thing. I was the whole time. I was like, just someone
Just
sleep
someone do
with
it.
her. Yeah,
She'll be fine. That's all she wants.
That's all she wants.
I thought about that while I was watching it, being like, well, this is like even when in front of she kills the first guy in front of the truck. I was like, just do it, dude.
Dude, do it.
Just do it.
I've done so
Just
much.
close your eyes.
No, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I've done so much stuff. I've done it. You know?
In some form.
Kind
If
of.
I was there, they would have been out of it. Would have been a rom-com.
Oh, just send Joe out there.
Yeah.
I'll take care of her.
I got you, Aunt Karen.
Yeah, we don't
X,
wanna
but
die.
a rom-com. No, it's
You know what I found out though? That old woman is played by Mia Goth.
nah.
Yeah. I watched it with this friend, and the whole time while watching, she's like, "I feel like that's not a human. Like, I feel like that's not really an old woman." And she just kept saying it through the whole thing, and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, the mannerisms are a little bit weird." I was like, kind of agreeing with her, but I was like, "No, I think that I think it's just acting. I think this older woman's a good act. They may put a lot of makeup on her." And she looks it up, and it's Mia Goth who played the woman
Wow.
the whole time. Yeah, I had
That's
no idea.
another area of acting that always fascinated me, and I really respect those like Mike Myers in Austin
Everything.
Powers.
Yeah.
Like literally, I mean, many other things too, but really Austin Powers. I remember seeing that and being like when at the point in my life where I realized that he was also Dr. Evil, and he's also Fat Bastard, and he was like, oh, you know what I mean, like
Gold
it's like,
member.
yeah, he's also Gold member. Like that's incredible. Like what
I
an
think that
incredible
would be
guy.
easier. I think it would be easier to act as somebody else than to have to act as more myself.
Huh.
Like, I think it'd be easier to put on, a costume.
Yeah, I think there's truth to that. I definitely felt that way with Citizen Weiner. I didn't always know what to do, but the director Daniel was always, directing me to be as myself as possible.
In Citizen Weiner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be harder to be as myself because in a weird way, I don't even know who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I was like, you don't know who I am, so like
I don't even know.
yeah,
who I am.
exactly. So what the fuck? Like, what kind
Yeah.
of? So I was always really confused, and I had a really, it's definitely a lot. I definitely felt a lot more comfortable in the past. Like, okay, here's a script. This is kind of like your license to be weird or like off or like whatever it is. But then in Citizen Weiner, it's like there's no license really.
Be the
given.
kid from Holy Ghost. That's
Yes.
like who you have to be.
Yeah.
This well dressed.
Yeah.
Proper.
Like
I know what
right
I'm
off
doing.
campus, like
Yeah, you looked like you walked right off campus and what you were wearing
I was
most of
just
the time.
missing my tie. That's it.
Yeah, that's it, dude. Yeah, dude. I just think it would be easier to be in costume.
Yeah,
I don't know.
for
but,
sure.
I always have kind of wanted to explore because I made up this movie with this like busser, and we were joking. We were just riffing about like if the moon wasn't real.
Mm.
And
It's a hot topic lately. I've been talking a lot about this.
oh,
actually.
dude, I might cover it on a podcast. Well, real how? Because I'll go to tell me what you don't think is real and what is real.
Well, I'm certainly skeptical of the footage. Okay.
Oh, the moon landing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're talking the moon writ large.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta.
But we can
change
do
some
moon landing
gears
stuff
now.
too.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
well, there's different ones that.
One leads to the other, probably.
Oh yeah, it's all one maybe in the end. That the moon's hollow. There's a hollow moon theory. That the moon's actually a spaceship. That's or a satellite.
Like a Death Star of sorts.
Yes,
That's a
it's
good theory. I
satellite.
like that. The Death Star looks like the moon.
Yeah.
With a little like indent.
Well, that's like weird stuff. If we go into that, like Hollywood knows stuff that we don't, and they're really just portraying and pushing it out to us. But that's also like the programming of because there's weird things that they'll film, and then like 4 years later, it really happens it happens in the real world. But the hollow moon theory is more like I'm not going to get this completely right, but that it could. Well, the astronauts go around, right, and they say that. Do you know about like the ringing bell?
Mm-mm.
So they detonated bombs on the moon, and it rang for like 90 minutes, and there was also sounds that all the astronauts said that they heard going around while they were going around in orbit of the moon. That sounded like a ringing bell. Then the other one is like the satellite, that the moon's actually a satellite. It's hollow because everything on the inside is like, technology and things like that they're watching us.
So if you were to ring a bell over something hollow, the sound reverberates. Or
Yeah,
something?
well, like think about like a rock and then like a hollow rock.
Mm.
So you'd be like boom or like,
Ah,
you know what I mean?
I see.
So
I see.
yeah.
Who rang the bell?
The detonation, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so they blew up a bomb. Why did they blow up a bomb on the moon?
I don't know. I don't know if they had a good reason for it. Maybe they knew something. But there's also like the dark side of the moon. Like we only see one side. So what's going on the other side?
Yeah.
But all right, my script. This is it. And it turned out to be, I think, kind of okay. We were just saying that, all right, the moon's not real. And we're like, well, why isn't the moon real? What is it? This is my possible script that I think we could do. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we could do it. I'm going to try to get this right. The moon is actually just a microscope. Okay? This one's new. I haven't heard anyone say this in this way.
Yeah.
The moon's really just a microscope. And this story would take place with we haven't solidified these characters yet. Maybe this is a character like a scientist working on Earth, and he has his sidekick. We're not exactly sure what the sidekick's doing yet, but it's either like a really smart sidekick with him or just like a dumb friend. And he's figuring out that like these things, the phenomenons that are happening on Earth are not normal. Like they just kind of happen, right? Like a tsunami will happen or a hurricane will happen. And it's like we could have predicted these things, but they happened unpredictably, or they came out of nowhere. An earthquake, like a volcano or something like that. So he all of a sudden figures out that there's something else going on with the moon, and the obviously have to build on this story, but he's slowly starting to figure out that the moon is maybe not what we think it is. And then the ending of it, we have to build everything on the meat of it, but the ending of it will be you pan out, and that Earth is really just a bunch of different petri dishes sitting on a table. And the moon, when it changes a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, whatever the one is that the moon gets blocked out, is really just like the magnifying glass changing. Okay? And so when you pan out, the petri dish is actually, Earth is really just in this petri dish that we're a scientific experiment. And it can go into the experiment of what like human beings are. And it pans out more, and now you have several different petri dishes. So it's all these different Earths that are sitting across one table.
I wonder how that could possibly relate to like, because I'm thinking franchise right now. Thinking like, how do we relate that back into time travel and shit? Like, how do they jump from petri dish? How do situations jump from petri dish?
Dude, that's not a bad idea. Like they took one creature from another one and put it on our Earth. And then it pans out maybe it's an alien that's controlling
A Wizard of Oz of sorts, maybe.
Maybe they are human-like. Maybe they're more alien-like. But you then it could show like they do something to the petri dish and a natural disaster happens, something like that. But that's my weird little sci-fi thriller that I think we could build it into something.
I like it.
And then you'd have to follow maybe like the scientist, or you follow several other people who are kind of figuring this out as well. I don't know. That's my weird script that I think we could build off of.
I think that's cool. The moon is a microscope. Just in and of itself, that's catchy.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say it like that.
No.
I don't know, but it could be like, but it would have to be good. I'm telling, we were just riffing about what the moon is, and we somehow came up with that the moon is actually just a microscope, and someone is watching us through the moon. Yeah. And then we came up with the lunar solar eclipse, whatever it is, that the moon's just changing and they're just swapping out. And that's time travel maybe, because if it's moving slowly, maybe our time moves way different than their time, right? It does, because they can watch, years or if the move's moving slowly like that, they must be moving quicker or slower. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that yet. We haven't written it yet. But so yeah, I don't know. That's one script. Because there's so many like movie. I have a problem with I have with movies today is they seem to be rewriting the same script over and over and over. Like I don't really see original shit out there anymore.
Well, I think it's tough because you see like they're working on a merger right now of like a bunch of studios,
Like Warner Bros. And stuff.
Yeah, I think all these things are being consolidated, and people are probably saying, what has worked for us in the past, let's just do that but better, and then that's not really.
Yeah, like the next generation's coming in, we can just remake it.
Yeah.
The remakes are not always as good. There's not many good remakes.
No.
But there's also the theory that they're dumbing down movies, and it's because people are on their phones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Throughout the movies.
That's true.
They have to dumb them. They cannot do a movie with a lot of depth now because we're constantly just going phone to screen, phone to screen. So you have to keep them engaged in the storyline, knowing that they're going to be jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's.
I almost wonder if there's like a future for like a white glove cinema type of thing. Like, have you ever been to a comedy show where they
Can't bring a phone?
Yeah. I almost wonder if there's a future for that where it's like, okay, this is a deep film, quote unquote. I don't know. The problem is that you have to really deliver then.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, honestly. I guess it would be fun to go to an event like that and then be really pissed off afterwards with your friends and like go out and be like, what was that? Like, how was that deep? Like, that is bullshit. But maybe some kind of event space like that where they're screening movies, you're forced to give your phone and put it in the bag, and it's just a different experience compared to what it is now. Because that's definitely true. I've heard that a lot, man. Like I've heard that a lot.
Like what?
That like it's a consideration in producing for some of the streaming services content that can be watched from a second, like they call it second screen viewing or something like that. Where it's the idea is that you're not supposed to be gripping the viewer with every frame of the film, but you're more supposed to be allowing them to be able to passively watch and still engage with it and still kind of know what happened or what went on. I don't really understand it fully.
Yeah, I mean, if you could then choose, like, this one's hard. It's a hard question for me to answer, but like your favorite movies type thing. Like, if there's a movie where there's definitely ones I'd be like, you have to watch it. Like, don't look at your phone. Like an Interstellar or something like that. Like, you gotta pay attention.
That's a recent love of mine. I just watched that.
I have to rewatch it.
I was on a plane and I watched it for the first time and I was like, this is great. And that's on a plane, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not a movie like, there's movies that you should watch in a movie theater. Like, that's definitely a movie that you should watch in a movie theater. Like, it's an incredible film. Like,
but you watched it on a plane?
I watched it on a plane for the first time, and I was totally like, I was enamored by it then. And then I saw it when it was re-released. I think last year was like the 10th anniversary of it or something. And I saw it in IMAX last year, like shortly after I saw it on a plane. And then I watched it recently on on the TV or whatever.
That's funny. I know my. Like, watching a movie. I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey on a plane. Can't have your phone. So you're watching the whole thing.
Yeah. That's true. Actually, plane viewing maybe is really good.
So we're just going to have to put people on a plane for the next movies that come out.
Fly around.
Yeah. Boarding.
I don't know what the environmentalists will say about it, but whatever,
Like a movie like...
It's good for cinema.
Yeah.
Plane cinema.
Yeah, aerial cinema.
Aerial cinema.
I like a movie like one of my favorite thrillers ever still is Signs.
Oh, I've never seen that, but that was shot.
You've never seen Signs?
Well, that was shot like right around here, wasn't it?
Newtown. Here.
Yeah.
It was filmed in a farm right over here. Newtown Pizzas in the movie.
I was just thinking about watching it yesterday, actually.
Dude, that is so good.
All right.
And I'll tell you why without giving it away. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm gonna. It is. He does such a good job of giving you little pieces where I feel like movies they try to give you so much right away, especially if it's an alien movie where like they want to show the alien and they want to do all this and they want to kind of like get you in like that, where M. Night Shyamalan just like gives you pieces, just like he does in Sixth Sense. Where, have you seen Sixth Sense?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, where he kind of gives you little pieces where you're like, wait, what's really going on? Like, you're seeing something but you don't really know what it is yet. Signs is a movie you gotta watch with your phone on the table.
Okay. I'm in.
Because
I like it too. He's like a former minister or something like that, so he's probably something
oh,
faith based, right?
well,
Like
I love religion-based stuff, but Mel Gibson he was a minister, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's some like faith element to it and stuff like that.
He's questioning his faith.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And you'll know this right away, but like something happens that he doesn't want to be a minister anymore. I love religious-based stuff, dude.
Me too, man. Me too.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's definitely an area. Like I felt like Citizen Weiner was a foray at tackling politics. I like those like hot button things that like you're not supposed to talk about type of stuff. You know, like avoid religion, politics, sex, whatever. You know, like the dinner table topics that they're like don't. But then ultimately everybody just wants to talk about them anyway. So it's like, why are we avoiding them? You know. But that would definitely religion, like a religious project, I think would be really interesting. I'd really like to work on something that has to deal with religion.
I love like religious conspiracy.
Mm.
Anything that has to do with the deeper, darker paths of like Catholicism or Judaism or anything. Like I want like where it came. Like that's why I loved. You read it like Dan Brown, like Da Vinci Code, like Angels and Demons, stuff like that, where they're putting together the religious aspect, but also there's an undertone of a secret society.
Sure. Yeah.
That
because religion a lot of times you see it get manipulated for, divisive purposes or like ulterior motives. And stuff
control
like
things like that.
Yeah.
Because Emma told me to watch Midnight Mass.
Oh, Midnight Mass, pretty good. Yeah.
So good.
Did you see Heretic yet?
Dude, she talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, Heretic.
I have to watch it this week.
I really enjoyed that. I thought, I don't want to spoil it because it is like, but it covers a lot of those things, and with something like religion that's so faith-based, obviously there's a lot of opportunities for doubt. So I think it is about that a little bit. I love that movie Doubt, by the way. Did you ever see that? Doubt?
No, who's in that? Why did I?
Oh, it's so good. It's originally a play by John Patrick Shanley, that's someone, love to work with him. That would be a dream. John Patrick Shanley. He wrote a play. He wrote many plays, but Doubt was turned into a film, and then it was Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a priest, and Meryl Streep plays the nun, and basically, one of the other nuns in the school is a school teacher. It's like set in the 50s or 60s, around that time. Accuses him of some sort of she's suspicious of his relationship with one of the kids, an altar boy, and so she brings it to Meryl Streep, who's like the head nun, and then there's this whole philosophical conversation. You don't really ever know if Philip Seymour Hoffman did anything to the kid, but your faith is shaken in that man over the course of the movie, and it's just called Doubt, and it's I don't want to say how it concludes up. I don't want to fully tell you, but it I think it's akin to the experience of having faith in something to some degree, and I love
whether or not he did it.
Yeah,
dude, have you ever seen Homeland?
I've seen episodes of Homeland before.
Oh.
My parents are big fans. Claire Danes, right? Like, yeah.
But that whole show is based on you don't know if who he's working for. You should watch the first 3 seasons of that show, are maybe one of the best 3 seasons of any television show ever.
Yeah, it's definitely TV. TV is such a commitment, so I feel like I'm like behind on the classics.
Are you a TV watcher?
Not that much.
Are you a film watcher?
Yeah, I watch a lot more movies, but the TV I really like. I enjoy it. I just feel like I need like that time to say, okay, I'm gonna watch it over this span of time. So I like only recently, like during the pandemic, for instance, I watched The Wire and The Sopranos, and that was like, okay, I just hit like 2 of the bigger ones, but I haven't ever seen Breaking Bad. I haven't seen Homeland, Mad Men, like some that I feel like there's like classics that I feel like that's kind of a gift, like a nice thing in the future. Like maybe I'll get to, like God willing, I'll get a chance to watch them. And
Breaking Bad's good.
Oh yeah, that's my mom's favorite. She keeps it. She says that's the best TV show ever.
It might be. Just it's wild. It's so good. It's so okay. Vince Gilligan is the director of that. He's got a new one out called Pluribus.
Mm.
and I just started watching that, and that one's odd. You really have no idea what's going on yet, and I'm like 4 episodes in. It's kind of slower-ish, which is nice. And I don't usually love slower-ish, but a TV show is a commitment, and it's got to be really good right away, because if it's not, like if it's not pulling me in right away, dude, I give up, because I'm going, do I want to give this much time to it? Like, did you ever watch Ozark?
No, I haven't seen that either. That's another one that's, I feel like, on the
I
classic list.
rewatched it recently. It was almost better rewatching the second time.
Okay. That must be a great show, then.
Dude, it's good.
Yeah.
Ozark is so good.
That's one I've heard, and I see a lot of those. I mean, I like a lot of those actors a lot. Like, I see them in other things.
Yeah, Jason Bateman's good in it.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And you know what? Talking about acting, the actress and his wife, you hate.
Mm.
And all I'm thinking about as I'm watching it is, you have to play this character that everyone ends up hating. And maybe you don't. Maybe you won't hate her if you watch it. But I would think there would be somewhat of a struggle as like an actor to be like, I have to play this role, but I also love a heel. Is probably, I love a heel more than I love a hero sometimes, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and but she just pisses you the
But some heels you're like drawn to, and you like. There were like, this was like in like my understanding of acting and what I like fell in love with acting. I feel like a turning point anyway of like understanding even what it was that as a child I would see Joaquin Phoenix in something. Like I'd seen Gladiator when I was a kid.
Signs.
He's in Signs as well. Okay, There we go. So there's another sign I should see.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, one of the first where I remember seeing him as Maximus, whatever his name is, the Emperor. He's the bad guy in Gladiator.
Yeah.
Seeing him, like anytime I ever saw him after that, I was like, I hate this guy. And then suddenly I realized as I was watching him, I was like, wow, what a profound effect he had as an actor to be able to just, at the look of him, like literally just a still shot, just the way he was holding himself. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything at all. He was just sitting there as the Emperor with like maybe a slight look, smirk on his face or something. He was like just his posture, whatever it was transmitting something so powerful to me at like 6 years old that I was like, I hate this guy. Like what a power he has. And, yeah, he's one. I would say he's another actor who anything he's ever in, I'm usually in.
Yeah, that's the thing with certain actors. I'm definitely gonna watch it if they're in it.
Mm.
Like a Daniel Day-Lewis,
Yeah.
someone like that. I know that's like that one's easier to go to. But
One of the best.
Gangs in New York,
maybe
is
the
so
best.
Good. I love Gangs in New York.
And doesn't he kind of make that movie? Like I don't know, the movie would be
Gangs in
nearly
New York?
as good if he wasn't in the movie. Like I don't think the movie would be as good because I don't think that movie's like necessarily, as far as Martin Scorsese movies go, the best story, best anything. I think Leo, I enjoy the other characters in the film, but Daniel Day-Lewis is like playing a character who you're like, well, I just want to watch this guy and hear him talk because his voice is fun and he's scary as shit when he's throwing his knives, It's,
and then he's just super like animated in this. Like I see, that's the thing. I watch movies and I think about how what they're doing back screen to like prepare for each scene. Because like that one where he's throwing the knives, where like Cameron Diaz is up there and he's throwing the knives. Like, what do you got to do to prepare for that? Because like he's scary.
Yeah,
you're sitting back there going, like that's what I'm thinking. It's like, what is he doing to be like, all right, I'm about to step, the camera's about to roll, and now I have to be the butcher, and I gotta throw these knives out there, terrify everybody, and then step away from
Cameron
that.
Diaz is like,
yeah, and then step away from when the cameras are off.
Yeah,
like how you do that?
Well, I don't know. He supposedly doesn't do that, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Would
you do that? Like where they just is that the method acting, or where they just step into it and then for 6 months they like. There's people whose husbands and wives would be like, I can't be around them for 6 months.
Sometimes I wonder if that's a little bit of to market the film. I do wonder that. But yeah, I mean, method acting, I took a method acting class with a really great teacher.
What is method acting?
That's the thing. I wanted to dispel a notion about it. Like, it's not that you just like close off every element of your life and just pretend to be the character. That's not really like method acting. That people put roots of what the actual like school of thought and school of acting is to that. It's not, that's not really what it is. It has to do with taking past experiences and reimagining them into your body. Like, the basic exercises are like, they're called like basic relaxation. So you're kind of moving your body around and you're asking yourself questions that are provoking responses, or you have a teacher who's asking you questions who are provoking responses, and you're supposed to be channeling those feelings through your physicality.
What other kinds of acting is there? Because that's the one you hear about the most.
Yeah, there's Meisner, there's Adler technique. There's a lot. Those were like from the basics. Basically, they're like one of the big fathers of acting was this guy Stanislavski, who's over in Russia, and he, I guess it was like probably like the 1920s, 1930s. He had done a lot of stage, coaching a lot of stage actors, and then they'd come to the U.S. and toured around, and people in the U.S. found them fascinating, their acting performances compared to other sorts of acting they'd seen, and some of the early. Like there was Lee Strasberg, and then Stella Adler and Sanford Meisner, and some of these other. There were a couple other people who were like early on, adapters of this Stanislavski school of thought. But then they all took what they learned from it and transmitted it in different ways. So they call it the Stanislavski method, is method acting. But then in the American schools of acting, they're like distilled in through these different teachers who describe it different ways, whether it be imagination based, personal memory based, or just reacting off of the words and trying to find the rhythms of the script. Because, as we were talking about before, like the writer writes it with a rhythm probably in mind, and like, oh, well, you say it like this, so it's like boom, 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 and then the drum cymbal hits, So there's all different ways to approach it, and I don't think there's a right one. It's just a matter of what works for you. But I think a little bit of those stories. I mean, I think there's something to being like always working, like we were talking about, like that you could be always working. You could be like Daniel Day-Lewis could be like, well, I'm going to talk like Bill the Butcher now, like, and that's going to be how I am for 3 months, and like maybe that is him practicing all the time, but I'm sure he wasn't treating his wife like Bill the Butcher. Bill the Butcher,
not, dude.
Probably be in prison,
Yeah.
like. So,
I don't know. Who would be your favorite actor? Do you have one of those?
I think Christian Bale. I really like Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Like what? What's a Christian Bale film that you like?
Well, the first was American Psycho. That one really, really grabbed me. I really liked Out of the Furnace. Did you ever see that film? Out of the Furnace is like a kind of deep cut that I really thought he did a tremendous job in. I like everything he does, to be honest. American Hustle, I think of that. I don't like the movie that much, to be honest.
It's not a very good movie.
No, but I like him in it. It's it depends. I can kind of shift gears sometimes when I'm watching movies and just appreciate the actors, and then other times I'll watch them and I'll be like, oh well, that wasn't for me.
I don't like that movie just because I feel like everyone overacted.
Yeah, well, that's true. Everybody was putting on. I mean, yeah, they were definitely all putting on. You thought Christian Bale overacted too? Maybe?
No, I think Christian Bale probably was the only one who was great in that. I think Jennifer Lawrence overacted.
Maybe.
And I think even Bradley Cooper was kind of overacting a
bit. Yeah.
I
love him though. He's a good, and I love Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, I love them both.
I love Silver Linings Playbook. That was one of my favorites.
That's a Philly based.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. But again, I feel like not every actor is great for every role.
No, and then also it is like, to give some balance to what I was saying earlier, like it is a whole production, and it's not always just entirely the actor's fault if it doesn't land, like it's like, sometimes it's the idea itself was flawed, or the something is like too over the top about the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, not to, at the same time, like boo if you deserve to be booed. I think that's part of the job. So yeah, I don't know. If they were overacting, then they were overacting. That's ultimately on the actor to not overact.
Yeah. I mean, who? Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because like anything Leo's in, I'm definitely gonna be watching. Even though every time he steps into a role, it's weird. I go, I don't really think he's gonna be that great, and then I go and watch it, and I think he's great.
Well, did you see the new one yet? The One Battle After Another?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet either. But the most recent one I saw then from him was the Martin Scorsese one where it was like the Native Americans.
The flowers.
Yeah, Killer of the Flower Moon. I didn't like that one.
I actually kind of did.
You liked it? Okay, all right.
Which is because it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And I thought Leo was really good in that.
Yeah, I think he did a good job, but I didn't think. I thought that I didn't think there was a point to it because I was like, I feel like I know that we've trampled on the Native Americans, and the whole movie it felt obvious that it was gonna be like like that these guys were trampling, him and De Niro were trampling on the Native Americans. So I was like, there's no twist or anything.
Okay, see, this is the thing with films. There's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That movie's about nothing. You know what I mean? Like we don't really know. Like we're just following these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where what is it? Something of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the
Flower Moon. Like sometimes that's okay. Like I feel like we're always watching. Like, are we always watching the movie for the ending? Then, you know what I mean?
Well, no, not that. But I just wanted to be like watching for not knowing what was going to happen next, I guess. Whereas Once Upon a Time,
they didn't wrap it up.
Not just that they didn't wrap it up, but just that I felt like the whole time I was like, okay, yeah, it seems like these guys are going to rip off these Native Americans. And then
I see where I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like I feel like there's no real ending to it. Like, of course, there's that dramatic scene at the end, which is awesome. I think Brad Pitt is fantastic in that movie.
That seems pretty fun.
So fun. Yeah.
Once he
he's
hits the
tripping on
cigarette,
LSD,
once
yes.
he smokes the cigarette, that's
takes
like
the dog
epic.
for the walk and comes back, and and he's like, oh,
that 30 minutes or so.
Such a good scene, dude.
That's
so
some of the
good.
best 30 minutes Quentin Tarantino's ever made, I think.
Oh my gosh, dude! Talking about this then, because it's gonna bring up the actress in that last scene, Mikey Madison.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh my god, have you seen Honora?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, talking about a movie can make you feel a certain way. That I thought Honora. I watched Honora. It ended, and for like 10 minutes, I was silent.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, wasn't the ending scene like one of the best ending scenes I'd seen in you'd seen in movies in a long time?
It's just a wave of emotions.
And she acts it so well.
Dude, she crushes it.
Yeah, she's
and
incredible.
The movie starts out so chaotic, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're just going through like the party scene and all this stuff. It's like almost like a softcore porn for like 30 minutes, and then that movie just ends. Yeah, it's like this emotion of like she trusts him, but she's also like just dealing with all the trauma that she's had, and then she hugs him. And she's just
come from a feeling of such heights too, to then that's such a vulnerable and like like it's not a heights moment, for her to have sex in the car at the end of the movie.
But she doesn't. He's also saying like you don't need to make me like you just by using sex.
Yeah, and reconciling that.
Where I think her entire life she had to use that for someone to get any kind of emotion from someone or to get any kind of human interaction always seemed to be perceived that way with her. So it was like there's somebody else in this world. That guy who plays him too.
Yeah.
And he crushes it.
He did,
Igor.
Yep, Igor. Yeah, I don't know his name, but
dude.
an incredible performance. The director of that film, Sean Baker, all his movies I found, some of them have really floored me. Like, I don't know if you saw the Florida Project. That one really floored me. Red Rocket, I love that movie, Red Rocket.
Dude, I didn't know about any of these.
Yeah, highly recommend. You should delve into his filmography a little bit. I'd say Red Rocket. You'd probably enjoy it. It's a fun movie. It's do you know the guy? He's like kind of like a parody rapper. I shouldn't call it parody rapper because he's rapping, but Dirt Nasty. Dirt Nasty. Yeah. His name's Simon Rex, and then he's an actor, and in the movie he's the lead character, and he's like a porn star who's come back to his like Oklahoma, or I can't remember exactly the state, but that kind of like western town, and he's like kind of flamed out of the porn industry now. And he's just like trying to find a way to make a buck.
I have heard about this maybe, and I think it had to do with the director seems to be having this theme of, prostitute, sexual.
That one, Florida Project wasn't a prostitute one. That was like these two. There's like these like this young family. I guess there was a little prostitution in that too. Yeah, I guess he has a lot of prostitution in in his movies. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll watch them. I try to think
one of them, Tangerine, actually, I think was one of his first movies, was shot entirely on an iPhone, which is incredibly inspiring. Cause
was a new Apple iPhone coming out or something?
No, it wasn't like a corporate gimmick type of thing. He just genuinely did it. Like he didn't have a large budget, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to make this on an iPhone." And he wasn't a big name. Like that was the thing that kind of put him on the map because it was a really well made film on an iPhone, and you'd have a hard time. Like you can see how it's on an iPhone when you're watching the movie, but you you wouldn't really, like, if you weren't told that information beforehand, you would just think it was a movie. Which I love things like that because it really knocks down like the barriers of entry to something.
Yeah, like the barriers of entry for Hollywood is it has to be this big, epic, have this kind of piece of equipment to be able to do it. And so why don't you do it? Would you do it? Are you interested in doing that?
Shooting something on an iPhone?
No, no, just making your own film.
I think if I had a really strong vision for it, maybe something like the cannibalism thing. I've had some things that I've kicked around. Citizen Weiner to some degree was a foray at that, though I didn't really have the executive authority other than the impact I was having on the campaign. Zach and I had come up with the idea, and then we were like kind of by nature driving the thing forward with the director, but it wasn't like an executive authority of being like, I think the tone should be this, or like, this is what we're trying to ultimately parody, which was a frustration I faced while we were making the film.
So the rally that came about, were those actors, or was that an actual rally?
Those were extras mostly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of things in that movie. I mean,
Well, then I like the movie more then. Seriously, because it seemed like it was put together. It seemed you're kind of telling me the whole thing was fake. I thought most of it was real. I'm dead serious.
Well, I mean, it's real in the sense that he was really running on the ballot, and some people really voted for him. But almost everything that's captured on screen is in some way staged or artificial. So I guess the movie itself is probably more on the side of fake than real.
Oh, it seems pretty real to me.
Yeah.
Watching the rally and everything, I didn't expect them to be extras.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some of them.
Oh, well, that makes me look at it differently then. That it's now I think it's better. that was all fake.
Yeah.
Oh, but he actually was on the ballot.
He was on the ballot, yeah.
So it was a mockumentary, documentary. Like I don't even.
Yeah, that's one of the problems I think, and one of the reasons that it's had a hard time latching on and finding a real audience is because that isn't necessarily super clear when you watch it, but I think that's true of politics. So it's like tough because that was kind of like what our thesis was starting at to start the movie. Like we were like, oh, politicians are constantly faking. We actually saw a combination, and now it's become a video essay like thing. But I swear to God, Zach and I were talking about this, and like when we came up with the movie, which was like in 2020, like even before the pandemic, was that WWE wrestling is very akin to politics. It's very similar. People put themselves as like the face, and people put themselves as the heel, and they try to gather people together, and people are supporting these politicians, but to some degree they don't love everything they're saying, but they're going to pretend that they love everything they're saying, or they know that they're not being always completely honest, or maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's that they're presenting a platform that is like the veil to a human, which is it's not fair. You start attacking someone because they have a sex scandal when their platform is talking about helping people. What's more important? Like, what are we actually voting for? I don't care what this guy's doing in his bedroom, but I care that he wants to, enhance the economy in XYZ way, or give people access to things, or power, empower people to do certain things. Like that's what you're voting for ultimately.
Politics is a stage, dude.
Yeah,
they're all just acting.
Yeah,
they really are.
Yeah,
everyone's just wearing a mask. I mean, aren't we all just acting?
Yeah,
throughout our daily life.
Yes,
like that's a weird thing when you break it down. Like who am I? Who are you? And I really, if I were to like sit in deep meditation for maybe 60 minutes and just sit there and go like, who am I? And try to think back and be like, all right, well, when, let's just say bartending, I'm a bartender. So I have to do this throughout my life. And because there's times when let's just say I step into work, I have to like take a deep breath. Like even before I walk through the door of the kitchen into the main restaurant, I have to go like, I'm a bartender right now. Mm-hmm. And then I fake a smile, open my mouth. I really do. Yeah. I go like, and then I go back there, and then I'm a bartender right now. Mm. And then when I'm managing, I have to go, I'm managing right now. I can't say the things that I would say when I'm bartending. Like I can't.
It's a different role.
My jokes, these jokes I use when I'm behind the bar with guests, and then I don't use them when I'm managing. You know what I mean? And when even the way I'll interact with the staff, completely different.
Well, your role's different.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing I've faced with the difference between producing and acting. There's such different relationships to everybody involved in the project. And I imagine that's probably very akin. It's probably almost a 1-to-1 probably between bartending and managing.
Even when I was in like sales roles, before I'd step into, and they would teach you this and coach you on this. Like if I'm stepping into one business, I have to act this way. And I kind of like make up that role in my head while I'm sitting in the car before I walk into a business and be like, all right, they're this type of business, so I must act this way. Or I think I should act this way in front of them. Or I wait to like allow them to speak a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, okay.
Put
this one on, put this one away.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So like we're constantly always doing it. So I don't know. I think it's a huge struggle of figuring out who. I think I figured out more and more who I am as I've gotten older, right? Or just which mask I think has maybe worked best. You know?
But then is it just part of the human experience to be acting? You know, one of the things like philosophically that was guiding us through this particular project was I'd read about it in college. I had a philosophy class that I really liked, where we read about, and it wasn't focused on so much in the philosophy class, but it always fascinated me, the idea of ethical egoism. So it's like, how can you be like ethically for yourself?
Like selfishly unselfish. Like I don't know. Like,
kind of, yeah. Like it's kind of a contradiction. Like, okay, so the example I always took to understand it, and my brother-in-law actually was getting his PhD at Fordham when I was there for philosophy. So I would always bring it up to him, and he'd always tell me I didn't have it quite right. And I think we still argue about it, you know, if we were at like Thanksgiving dinner, because I don't fully understand it. But in my understanding of it, it's like the example I would use would be like, why do you hold the door open for somebody? Is it because you want to like unburden them, or because you're like, I'm supposed to this makes me look like a nice person, I get a thank you. It's like a warm feeling to be doing something that's nice.
Like there's no such thing as altruism.
Yeah, maybe not. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's like, okay, then that can be a good guiding thing. Like you can be at once self-serving, but then realizing that self-serving is feeding back into being serving of everybody. And you know, that's a lot more self-serving to be, you know, positively benefiting everybody than just positively benefiting yourself.
Like that.
Then you get eaten. Maybe the third miner was eaten because he was just looking out for himself. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. The one behind the wall?
Yeah, I don't know.
He ate himself?
I don't know. No, I'm saying maybe they ate him because he was like, they were like, this guy, we're not going to survive with it.
Yeah. Stop talking through the walls, dude.
We're trying to sleep.
Yeah. No, but that is like a thing where that's like one philosopher talks about that. I don't know, where everything is truly just self-serving. It is. Like, even though I opened the door for someone, I did it because I want them to think I'm a good person. Right? Or maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was just, maybe it was just the way that we were both walking through the door at that time. Now, what are my intentions? And that's what it really comes down to. It's like, I have to make sure I do everything with intention. And like buddy Matt, he's big into Buddhism now. And like, he's on a silent meditation retreat at the moment for a week. It's the second one he's doing this year. Wow. And like, so he's just trying to figure out exactly maybe what we're talking about right now, where what is my intention when I do anything? And that's really what I have to, and I forget that all the time, but I have to always, it helps me out. It helps guide me a little bit. But I feel like you could use that to acting. Like, what is my intention today? What am I trying to perceive? What do I want you to perceive? And even though I might not see it this way, will somebody else see it that way? You know? And it's weird, as I always watch movies and things like that, I'm always trying to get into the mind of the actor. Always.
Well, maybe you have an acting role ahead in your life then. Because that's one of the things with acting you don't get, like, you only really get better at acting, I think, because, you know, like we're talking about, it's a constant experience that we're constantly doing, you know, regardless of what, you know, we all just have different roles that we're taking on in our lives and different people that we're interacting with and different ways in which we're filling roles in that relationship. So I almost think, like, my dream acting role is, like, a character I would play when I'm like 60.
I don't know. Even doing this right now, when I first started this, my first few guests, I was trying to be a podcaster, right? I was trying to like talk to them in a certain way, and then as it like progressed more, it became a lot more calm. Right. And then I was just like, I was trying to drive it and, steer it a little bit more. And now I don't. Now it's like, oh, what are we going to talk about? Like some people, like, I think you even ask, like, well, what are we going to talk about? What are you going to ask me? Then I go, I don't know. I kind of just leave that up to, like, of course, I'm going to watch 2 of your films. I'm going to watch, know a little bit about you. If I'm bringing on someone, I'm going to try to do a little bit of research and whatnot. But at the same time, I don't really want it to feel like an interview.
Yeah.
I don't really want it to be. So I don't know if I were to be an actor, I feel like my first few would be very stiff, maybe.
Well, but that's the learning. I mean, like, how do you learn how to walk, Like,
Oh, you fall and fail a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing. I think that's one of the tough things about, and what's daunting maybe compared, like, okay, you could act in a play, and then you kind of get the beauty of a play is, like, the people in that room are having this one experience in that one moment in time that can never be replicated really again. I mean, maybe you could film the play or whatever, but for the most part, the whole experience is there, and it's one take, and it's just you're there, and that's it. With movies and why it's so daunting, and it's really tough, I think, to go through the whole experience of a career, regardless of any actor, but I'll speak specifically for me, is that you watch some of your work and you say, wow, that was really bad. Like, I did a really bad job here in this given thing, and that's just for posterity then, because it's filmed, it's edited, it's produced, all these other people worked on it, everybody's hands and imprints are on it, and it's preserved then forever.
Do you feel like you think more of the negative of the stuff you watch than the positive? Like, does your mind go more towards, like, that was bad? Or do you go, like, wow, I did good?
I don't know. I don't think I often... I do feel like I'm just getting better. Like, I feel like I'm trying to get better and, like, kind of achieve, like, in the sense of, like, what motivated me to do it in the first place was, like, going back to when I was in high school on the speech team and feeling like, oh, there's still, like, a ceiling to be reached here. I still feel that way. So that's one of the reasons I wouldn't, like, I don't foresee myself stopping that pursuit, because I'm like, I still am trying to climb to a ceiling. So I think generally, yeah, when I watch it, I'm probably seeing a lot more of the failings, and at least initially, but at the same time, I'm often in awe by the total production of it all. Like, I'm like, wow, like, that was pretty cool, or like the way the camera captured that was pretty neat, and like the sound here, like the music is beautiful, and and I'm feeling emotions regarding in reaction to it, type of thing. Or one of my scene mates, wow, like, yeah, like, that's not how I thought their performance was going to read. Like, that is really even reverberating in a way that I didn't fully understand when I was working with them.
Well, it's a good mindset to have. They're going like, all right, well, it may not be my best right now, but my best will come later.
Yeah.
It's a good mentality to have. I mean, that's helped me out so much more as an adult, where as a kid, you're just like, oh, I didn't do well the first time, I must not be good.
Yeah.
Where as I've gotten older, it's like everything I do now, I feel like it's just a step towards being better at something, later on. Like, even it related to even doing this, like, everything I do right now is the editing, all that. I had no idea that I would be editing. Now I have to do it all.
Yeah.
And now every time I edit, I go, all right, is it good enough right now? Right? Okay. I'll get better eventually, and I'll learn another technique later on. But right now, this is what I got, and this is what I'm going to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or even, like, playing basketball. Like, in the league, like, our first game was horrible. We lost by, like, 30. But I also have to rely on the other guys to be like, hey, just let you know, like, we're better than this. We are. We're going to come out next week, and we're going to try to change it up a little bit, okay? And then we won. And now the next week it's a tough team we play next week, but it's like, all right, now how do I take the first loss and then the second and the first win, and how do we put these together to make sure that we come out differently? And that's just like, it's as you get older, you learn that. And I wish I could to, like, teach that to kids, to be like, look, failing's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I feel like it's the most important thing to experience in life. Like, it's like to fail and then to try again. Those two things, because the leap that you take, usually, I'm like starting to pick up golf now that I moved into in New York. I lived in New York for 15 years. Like, I wasn't ever really golfing other than, like,
There's a lot around here.
Yeah, a lot of golf around here, and it's fun to do with, it is a fun game, albeit very frustrating to be learning. And my friends that I grew up with and that are that have remained in the area are all golfers. Like, or a lot of them are golfers, and so it's a fun thing to be able to hang out with them, on a Saturday
Dude, that's
morning.
a perfect example.
Yeah,
of failing over and over and over again, and then you hit that like nice little, you get like a lob wedge, 50 yards out, and you put it right on the green. You go, oh, maybe I'm not so bad. Maybe I'm all right.
Yeah, because like even if you play 18 and you take enough whacks at it, you have a couple each time that you're like, holy crap, that was beautiful, and everybody on the course acknowledges it's a cool game because everybody is kind of failing together for the most part.
Yeah, and they kind of like definitely when you do well, they're all like looking through the lens of like, wow, like like I have felt like all your failures kind of come together for somebody else's victory. Sometimes you're like, wow, dude, like he hit it straight this time. They're watching you fail over and over and over again. Then when you hit it straight, it might be your only one that you hit straight, but everyone acknowledges it as nice drive.
Yes. Yeah.
No, golf is like the greatest example of if you'll never get great at it, right? Like you'll have great days, great swings, great, but yeah, because I've golfed on and off throughout my life, and that's one that, man, it'll just be the most frustrating game. For you golf 100 times, you'll have one good one. I don't know. That's why, talking about a sport, that's where I love watching golf so much. I really do. I know it's weird. People don't always say that, but I love it. It's to acknowledge the consistency of those top 15 guys. Those top 15 golfers, to be consistent is insane to me. To be hitting a steady, 66, 69, 68, 75, anything like that blows my mind that you guys are on there every weekend during the golf season and consistently putting up those numbers. I'm just glad
you didn't throw a 6-7 in there.
I thought about it, and you just did it, dude. I was avoiding it, and you did it, dude.
I hate that I did it.
Yeah,
I couldn't even stop it.
Yeah.
Spending too much time around my nephews
avoided
for the
it,
holidays,
dude. I know. I still don't understand that either.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. It's an anti-joke. It's an anti-joke. There's nothing funny about it. Like, it made sense when we were kids and we were like 6'9", 69.
Oh, yeah, we understood that one. Yeah.
That's a joke. That makes sense. It's like linked to
it had a
something.
meaning.
Yeah.
There's no meaning to this one. But now I catch myself saying it all the time. Well, now even when I'm describing stuff, I go, oh, we'll need 6 or 7 of those. I'm like,
God damn
no,
it.
we don't, dude. Do we really? And now it blew my mind to go, how many times have I used this together, but it just didn't click because, it's a weird one.
But I cut you off. Sorry, you were saying the consistency. The consistency.
Oh, yeah, I think it's amazing. The golfers are. People look at golf and they go, "Oh, it's a slow." Like not everyone, right? It's huge now, but they'll look at it and be like, "Oh, golf's boring." And you go, "No, you just don't understand." Like for those guys, for Scotty Scheffler to go out there and to be the top golfer on a consistent basis is insane.
And
for
to play
Tiger
pretty
to do
well
what he was
after
doing.
he was arrested too. He played pretty well. Like he didn't like. Just the fact that he was still playing on the tour, like I think if I got arrested, I think my game would shut down.
Maybe not.
Or maybe you'd be enlivened and you'd be like playing the best game.
You ever see that interview after he won this year, where he said that he doesn't even love the game that much? It's a really honest interview, where he said he did it. He knew he was really good. Did it throughout high school. And then he says he doesn't really even know why he does it anymore, other than just for financial reasons and to support his family. But he doesn't even love doing it anymore. But he just knows he's so good that he's going to continue to do it. Try to find that interview. This year.
I worked on I produced a basketball documentary that was about like the Supreme Court ruled that their players are able to be paid now. So there's like the whole NIL thing where they're so like the documentary kind of follows like an AAU basketball team that's like a feeder to big universities and the NBA and stuff like that, and over a 10-year period. And we had this journalist who's writes for The Ringer, this guy Howard Beck. And Howard Beck came to the one of the screenings for the film, and I was talking to him afterwards, and he was like, what really shocks me about being like an insider to the NBA who's talking to these players is how many of them just honestly treat it as a job. Like, you can't really, and it makes sense. You can't really expect someone to just, like, what you get up and do every day, you don't necessarily do it for the love. Like, some people do. Some people, genuinely love what they do. But for the most part, what people do is they get up and they like, they're having this whole human experience. I'm gonna have to raise my kid, and I have a baby who's crying, or I have a woman I'm trying to woo, or whatever, whatever it is, like all the things that are going on in your life.
Sometimes it's an inconvenience to have to show up on the basketball court.
Right.
Probably, yeah.
Right.
I mean, especially baseball, dude. You gotta love 162 times,
dude,
every year.
And I do it for fantasy baseball. Like I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, but you love that, right? There's a dopamine hit you get from that, though.
Oh, what when you like when
you're setting your lineup?
Oh yeah, and like that day, Nick Kurtz hits 4 home runs, and I'm like, I just picked Nick Kurtz up from,
dude.
Am I a genius? Like,
yeah, dude. You
I just got rookie of the year.
Then.
Like,
No, I mean, I play fantasy football, but it's like that dopamine hit of like picking up a rookie or picking like your player gets hurt and you got to pick someone up off the waiver wire and they throw up 24 points and you're like, this guy wasn't thrown to all year. I saw it, dude. Yeah, dude. I'm a fucking genius, bro. You guys didn't know that they were. The 2 other guys were out and they were starting this quarterback. And say, how did you guys not see it? Like, I am a genius, but I don't know. All right. So what are your upcoming things? Juice World or
Juice Cleanse?
Juice Cleanse.
Juice Cleanse. Yeah. Juice World. Travis Scott and I, we weren't able to come to an agreement. He got into some trouble, huh?
Travis Scott or Juice World's dead? Oh.
Juice World? He died?
Oh, you're talking about what? Juice WRLD died, yeah. But
okay, well, that's R.I.P.
Wait, what? Astro
Juice
World?
Cleanse.
Are you thinking Astro World?
Astro World. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD died. Okay, well,
Juice WRLD was the emo rapper?
I shouldn't be joking. R.I.P. Juice WRLD. I'm sorry to hear of your loss. I don't know. I didn't know his music, so.
Wait, can I ask you? There's no deep. You've never met any weird satanic stuff in Hollywood? Would you consider yourself in Hollywood?
No, but I've worked in proximity a little bit to Hollywood.
Like Santa Clara?
Manhattan Beach? No, I'm just kidding. No, I've worked, everything feeds from Hollywood. Devil's Workshop, a film I produced, was sold to Lionsgate. I would say that's a Hollywood company. And so you have to go through the experience of being and deal with some, different parts of the distribution process and stuff like that I would say are Hollywood. But no, I have not been welcomed into the gates of
the Illuminati
Hollywood.
or anything?
No,
Damn,
nothing
dude.
Like that.
Have you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah. I love that
might
movie.
rewatch that recently. Or I might rewatch that soon.
Stanley Kubrick. In fact, what's crazy is I just so yesterday for Juice Cleanse, Juice Cleanse, for Juice Cleanse, I dropped off some camera equipment yesterday, and the place where we rented the camera equipment is called Do All Camera Rentals. It's in Westfield, New Jersey. They have a camera there that they shot Eyes Wide Shut on.
Oh.
And The Godfather.
Dude, if you grab that mustache and you grab that camera, that's
that's some movie history.
Yeah,
right there.
dude.
We just got to put the camera and the mustache together somehow.
Just make a whole movie about that mustache.
Maybe that'll be in the Minor movie. Maybe they eat the guy, and the only evidence left is the mustache.
It's a mustache, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Why do you have his mustache?
Why, you have Ron Burgundy was down here, dude?
That was part of their
just
shared
reporting.
delusion. He's like,
oh, once someone saw Ron Burgundy, and then dude, that would be wild if down like all the shared delusions, there was something down there of their shared delusion, like that there was a bunny tail, right? And then there was
little Pope hat.
Yeah, there was something. Yeah, there was some Vatican something down there, and all their shared delusions are. And then the part of the story could be: were they down there before they got there, or did they show up after they left? And just like little pieces of that could be a weird little. I don't know.
Everybody knows nobody could fast for 301 days, so.
No, dude.
The
good thing they weren't down there. Though.
Yeah,
dude.
The Philly Fanatics, George Washington outfit. There are many things that could be down there.
Oh man, our body's a weird experience. Talking about fasting, I mean, it's wild. What we're told we can do, and then what we actually do end up doing. Because there's another guy who lived off potatoes for a year for science, and he lost like 300-400 pounds, extremely healthy. All these things. Yeah, that was a big. Also, like things that happened. He
lost 300 or 400 pounds.
Yeah, he was overweight, and all he lived off was potatoes, and I think technically not just potatoes. He was eating like ketchup with it or barbecue sauce and stuff like that. There's a book called The Starch Solution, and also written by John McDougall. Also, The Healthiest Diet on the Planet, and I've read those books, and yeah, they go into that story. But there's they also go off of like weird things that happened during war that taught us about the like human body.
Oh yeah, I have a good one. I have one good one, but hold on.
It was one starvation during when they were the siege on Paris, and anyone that had any form of like type 2 diabetes and such, because they were starving, it was curing their body. It was just basically they were fasting. They were forced fast, and how powerful that is.
So they learned about it through war. Well, such advancements are made through war. Like so many of the scientific, like kind of life or death accelerates the.
Something about
curiosity.
like Auschwitz too. There was weird ailments that we had that we create in the human body just from the food we eat and the way that we eat and the constant that we eat. Like we eat way too much, and way too many times in a day and stuff like that. And it's causing our body to be sick. It's not allowing our body to be able to detox toxins. So it's like the great thing about fasting is what they say is like it creates cellular regeneration, things like that. It's taking away. So when you eat, like let's just say 30% of your body or energy goes towards digestion, where when you remove that, now your body can start to remove these toxins, and it can start the cellular regeneration and up your HGH, and possibly even make you stronger and stuff like that. But all right, what's your story about war? And
so I was in I was in Gettysburg, and we went to for Emma's birthday. We went to a I guess it was like an inn there, and we stayed in the inn, and we went on a history tour and everything like that. And on the history tour, they walked us by this like stream, and the guide was saying that the people were dying there, and they actually discovered during this battle and battles of this time that there's people who had lost their limbs and stuff like that, that like the bugs were eating them, and a lot of them were trying, a lot of times the medics were trying to clean the bugs off of them, but one of the soldiers was like, nah, just let the bugs eat it. And they found that the bugs were able to eat away the bacteria and preserve actually him, so he actually survived because bugs were eating away like the flesh eating bacteria.
Like healing his wound.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. What an advancement though. Like what, and then I'm sure scientists were able to look at that and say like, oh, we need to create these sorts of chemicals to react to wounds that, will stop the infection from spreading past the lost arm or whatever it is.
That's wild.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's so wild to me is that's like in the scheme of like world history, that's such a short period of time ago.
Yeah, not far at all. Gettysburg is 1860s.
Yeah, such a short period of time. People that we've been alive with have known people who could have died during that period of time. Right? I think maybe close to it anyway.
1860s?
Yeah.
Like 100.
Say you have someone who's like in their 90s. They're born.
It's like 160 years ago or something.
Yeah, but think about it. So if somebody in their 90s, they're born now in like the 1930s.
Yeah.
Someone who's born in the 1850s might have been there at the battle.
Like our great-great-grandparents would have been that.
Maybe, yeah. Depending on how old everybody is.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, so what else are you working on? Juice Cleanse?
Cleanse.
Why is it called Juice Cleanse?
Juice Cleanse, yeah.
Yeah, what does it? Is that name have a meaning? Or
Yeah. That's a very strong meaning. Honestly, it's I'm not
at liberty to say it, or
well, I'm just not like creatively involved in the project in the sense that like I don't want to distill it into what it is, but I will say that it's a body horror film. So I don't know if you've seen many like David Cronenberg, any of his movies like The Fly or
like Tusk and stuff like that.
Tusk, yeah. Recently there was Crimes of the Future, but this is a film about a young girl who is recovering from a body dysmorphia issue, or like anorexia or something like that, bulimia, and she's out of rehab, and she returns from her sort of like big city job back to her small religious community that she grew up in, which is a Jewish community, and when she arrives back home, there's there's a young rabbi in town who is new. You know, it used to be she's confused because it used to be like this old head of the church or head of the temple type of guy, and he's been replaced with a young guy who is convincing everybody that this juice is good for them, and a lot of people are drinking the juice, and she, you know, it goes from there. But there's really cool special effects, prosthetics involved, and it's a horror film, so you know you can glean what you will from it. But
Is this the film that you're talking about that has more special effects?
yeah, some special effects. Yeah, I'm really excited about that element. We actually have another big shoot ahead of us where there'll be like a little bit of a big special effects, like sort of monster design that it'll be really interesting to see. I actually worked with this special effects artist before, Casey Mussman. She's the one with the mustache who did Billy Zane, Ron Burgundy, and Aaron Dallavilla mustaches, and Aaron Dallavilla and the Plastic Men, which is coming out soon. And she did their mustaches, and now she did the Devil's Workshop creature design. At the end of Devil's Workshop, basically there's a succubus, this crazy monster. The actress Rada Mitchell wears the monster suit, and Rada does such a good job. You've definitely seen movies that she's been in. She's in Man in Fire with Denzel Washington, and she was in Phone Booth.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that too, actually.
Yeah, Silent Hill. Many great films, and she does a great job in Devil's Workshop. But she wears this monster costume at the end, and Casey did like a crazy job building it with another makeup artist, Sig Neutron. And but anyway, Casey's doing another crazy suit that we have to shoot, and it's going to really kind of be like the fireworks to the movie, to Juice Cleanse.
All right, well, I'll watch Juice Cleanse. Before we wrap this up, then, talking about monsters, have you seen Substance?
Yeah, this is this is in that world of Substance.
I loved Substance. I loved Substance up until the last 20 minutes.
You didn't like the last 20 minutes?
Not when I watched it, but then at the end, for like a few days, I was thinking about it, and I went, okay. And I think other people have had this take on it. I went, okay, that monster is just really who she was on the inside. So it was just her. It's who she really was, and it was just being exposed on the outside. Because like even when she says, "No, it's me," it's like Jennifer, whatever her name was. It was like, oh wow, so this person is really just that's her inner her being shown. And I was like, oh, so the deeper meaning of that is good. I just feel like that whole movie was filled with meanings. It could be, addiction, body dysmorphia, aging, and then at the end, it's she's just really having that inner battle, whether or not that really happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I thought that movie was great. I really did. The whole thing I thought was awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool movie. I really like Dennis Quaid's performance too. He was a real huckster.
Yeah. See, that's the thing where I feel like I could play that role, like just like very animated.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I could do that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of scenes with him that piss me off. Like when he's just eating. Like I don't like that. I don't like that in a movie when he's like eating the shrimp.
That's
that's
a
very
complaint
disgusting.
with the directing or the acting.
Yeah.
I just watched this movie Caught Stealing last night. Did you see that Caught Stealing?
Oh, dude, I want to see that. Austin Butler.
Austin Butler.
Yeah.
But they have this scene in it where he just throws up on a wall, and I don't want to see, or it throws up on an apartment door window, and I don't want to see that ever. Like, why am I watching that?
Okay.
That's not his fault.
I mean, even when they're injecting in substance, I hate needles.
But at least that like has like a plot purpose. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, well now I'm seeing the process of how they're transforming this person's body.
Yeah, like they were trying to make Dennis Quaid like disgusting, right?
Yeah.
So they were just trying to make sure like he was just this disgusting.
But he was
man.
already disgusting as
I didn't think you needed him to be any more disgusting.
He was doing a great job as an actor. So like why?
Just being like this, selfish. It's he'll replace you once you get there. So like he didn't need to be that any more disgusting eating the food like that. So it bothered me a little bit, but yeah, it's fun watching films. It really is. And so that's pretty cool that, I even said when my cousin and I are the one who kind of started this like a couple of years ago, but never ran with it. But our whole thing was to just bring on people. We were going to call it Know Your Neighbor. And then we were just only going to bring on people that we were tired of hearing celebrities go on podcast. we thought they were boring because we thought celebrities knew how to, or an actor knows how to act. They don't know how to human. And that was the whole thing. And we believed that our neighbors all had maybe a better story to tell. So our whole thing was, we're just going to start a podcast. We're just going to bring on any random person that we come in contact with, maybe our neighbors, maybe our friends, anyone like that. And we're going to run with it like that. Because if we bring on like an actor, even though you're one, even though we're going to bring on an actor or something like that, we just don't know if it's going to be like that real or it might just feel fake.
Like what's the substance behind it?
Yeah.
Well, because the actor's job is just other people, is like the neighbor's words, you know?
Yeah. So that was like the whole thing behind this. So you're actually the first actor to come on.
What an honor.
Yeah, but I didn't,
hopefully I don't start a chain.
Really...
I don't want, no more actors after me.
No, I don't. I didn't know you were though. Because when I was told about it, you were just a producer. So I didn't know of you as that. But then seeing it in the film. So it was kind of cool to have like the reverse of it, where if I would have known you as, oh, you're an actor, and then bring you on, I think it would have been different because I knew you as this before I knew you as the other. So, which I think is actually kind of cool. Like if I would have met, some big star and had no idea that they were that, that's the preconceived notions. Like that would have ticked in my head to like change to this slide. You know what I mean? To be like, Art, I must interact with him then this way. You know what I mean?
I think you should play the guy behind the microscope in the moon.
Maybe, dude. Oh, I'm just flipping the lens. But that's the thing. That's another weird part of life is that we hear they're one thing, so then we flip over this, this lens to go. All right, I must
recontextualize people all the time.
Yeah, but and then to not like I didn't have to have that lens, but I don't know. It's just pretty neat having that human experience, and that's all we're having, right?
Thank you, Frank.
Dude, thank you.